Right, I'm live. I'm just going to share the link. Usual thing. There we are. I can see myself. There we are. I can see myself and I can hear myself. I can see myself and I can hear myself. I can see myself and I can hear myself. Facebook. I can see myself and I can hear myself. Facebook. I can see myself and I can hear myself. Facebook. I can see myself and I can hear myself. I don't know why that keeps repeating. Okay, I should do the trick. Facebook. I can see myself. Right. Let me just share this around. I think probably there'll be a few of you in chat by now. So there we go. Share to a group. I still can't share it. There we go. Bases project. And to appreciation group. And third rail. Third rail radio. There we go. All right, guys. No one in chat. Oh, hello, Woody Black. Hello, TK. Jake Yorkman, Brenda A. Lee. Let's jump the broomstick, Brenda. Michael Snow gets the first lizard joke. It's all loads of people here. Jake Yorkman says, please check out my channel. I've got drone footage of a crop circle. Oh, well done there. Nice one, Jake. No One's Flower says, yes, he wanted to be reincarnated as a deadly virus to reduce the surplus population. That says it all, yeah. In fact, if it's true about what people say, that he died in 2019, I think that explains where the coof comes from, doesn't it? Jake Yorkman. Oh, right, it's more about the crop circles. Right you are, Jake. UFO Nut. Hello, good name. I think we're kindred spirits. I know I keep repeating. That's because I had the player on. It's Clopite says hello, Ben from Letchworth. Oh, hey. Hi, Legend Real. Hello, Bum Gravy. Hi, Tina. How are you? Tina Silver. E.T. Good evening, Ben. I wonder how long it is until Prince Philip variant of COVID is announced. Yes. Bum Gravy says, old lizards never die. They just shed their skin. And Caligula Commodus says, evening, Ben. Evening, all. Hey, how you doing, guys? The thing about shedding skin and things like that is, on the Mindset podcast today, we were talking about Philip and about how in the film Avatar, the very last thing that happens in the film Avatar, for which we're still waiting for the sequel, was that what happened was they transfer the body. The main character who loses his human body, he's already sort of he's already transmitting his conscious remotely to this biological robot. He has to transmit his conscious permanently into that robot. And at the very end, will do. Yeah. And that's at the end. Caligula Commodus says, Ben, will you be addressing Andrew Johnson this evening? Oh, yeah. The hell hath no fury like Andrew Johnson scorned. I knew the payback would come before long. All right, well, Andrew, if you go to my video, Ian R. Crane Dies, Andrew's actually put a comment on there. And I did a text reply to him, and I'll go into it again. I'll go into it again on my next comment reply video. And I have copied it just in case he decides to delete it. And he says, screenshot taken, so he's the one scared of the deleting right now. But no, he did an article and video about me. Did you see that? Yeah, oh, yes, exactly. I mean, he didn't actually say anything in the video and article that hasn't really been covered before. In the comment he made and my reply to it and other things. I mean, he didn't accuse me of being an MI5 agent. which is quite remarkable, because normally if you get on the bad side of him or his twin brother, the first thing he do is accuse you of being an agent. And he didn't, so credit to him there. He didn't actually say anything that I haven't addressed before. He brought up what did he say anything that he hasn't said before? Larry Warren. He said, "Oh, you're Ben supports Larry Warren, who's a liar," and then he did what he's done before, which is simply linked to Sasha Christie stuff, which is nonsense, and I proved it's nonsense. So much for checking the evidence, Andrew. You know, check the evidence. Andrew Lawrence a liar, we know, because it's on Sasha Christie's website. I mean, that's not checking the evidence, is it, Andrew? He didn't actually say anything else apart from that I haven't addressed before, and I don't address in this comment. So if you go to the Ian R. Crane Dies video, you'll see the comment, you'll see my reply to it. So Brenda Lee says, getting buried on the 17th of April. 17, you know. Oh, he is, isn't he? Yeah. You see, I've got a feeling there's going to be two funerals. Obviously, there'll be the public funeral. If there's a public funeral, or there's any public coverage of the funeral, I'll have to do it separately because, well, it depends. They might have to have a real funeral with a much bigger coffin, because when they're in reptilian form, they're much larger. Reptilians are said to be between 7 and 8 feet tall, as opposed to the human's average of 5 to 6 feet. I think it's 5. It's so. Unless, of course, he stayed in human form when he was dead. I don't know. Hi, Steve071. Tina Silver says, Philip means lover of horses. That's right. And he actually did. He was very fond of equestrian sports, appropriately. And what's interesting about it, it's like, in a little while, I'll go into more details about the reaction, but someone did leave a balloon shaped like a horse as part of the very, very small little tribute. There's probably a couple of 100 posies of flowers and cards and things. Very different from a Diana, isn't it? Nihilist Lives Matter, hello. The funeral will be awkward. Well, like I said, it depends on the size of the coffin, doesn't it? David Schultz says, greetings, Ben. How the hell are you? I'm not bad, thanks. Not bad. Michael Snow says, it's an insult to actual lizards. Oh, actual lizards are lovely, aren't they? Yeah. I mean, I've got nothing against lizards. It's just when they're nasty ones who drink blood and adrenochrome. That's the problem I have. Hello, our animal auntie Bev and Clopite. 99 years old, died on the 99th day. Was it the 99th day? I know it was the 9th of... It was the 9th, wasn't it? Is that the 99th day of the year? That would be remarkable, wouldn't it? Jake Altman says, condolences to Ian's family and all those close to him. May he rest in peace. Yeah, definitely. You've seen my last live stream was one for Ian. I'll never forget Ian. I really won't. Steve071 says, send the vid on, check the evidence. Yeah, that's it. But as I said, Andrew doesn't put really anything new in there. He says it's all stuff that he's said before and I've said before. And I say, indeed, if you go to the Ian R. Crane Dies video, not the live stream, the first video I did, he did put a comment on there and I put a reply in text, which was firm but fair, I think. Nihilist Lives Matter, Andrew Johnson. Anyone who disagrees with me is a liar and a possible shill. He doesn't. He has a very, very long list of enemies, and it's kind of a relief now I'm on that list, finally. It's probably, you see, because he's right about a lot of things, but he's wrong about a lot of things too. And I'm not, if he gets something wrong, I'll tell him so. And of course, then I'm inevitably heading for that list, and it's quite a relief to be on it at last. And it's not, and I managed to get onto his enemies list, not for anything at all. That we disagree. It's not because of a disagreement. It's not because of any factual disagreement. I haven't changed my opinion of anything he says. Tina says, Philip, lover of horses, dies during the Grand National Racing Festival. He did, didn't he? Oh, yeah, and I didn't manage to put a bet on. You sent me a tip. I didn't manage to put a bet on. Who won that, actually? I didn't follow it. I've sort of lost interest in sport over the last year or so, because I think it's to do with the lack of crowds, because people aren't allowed to go along live. Bum Gravy, hello. Keep your eyes on the minor news. Now's a good time for governments to bury bad news. A la 9/11. Yeah. Well, I've been watching the UFO news that's been coming out briefly. Yes. Michael Snow, is he the shitty blue fleece bloke? Yes. Although he doesn't use the blue fleece anymore. Jake Yorkman, I did a vlog the other week when I rode my bike near the site where Ian protested against fracking. Oh, well done, Jake. I'll check out your channel. I think I do sub to you. Caligula Commodore says, Ben, I think a reply video is warranted. Andrew, if you're watching, you're a coward and you're a contradiction. Well, Caligula, I don't think Andrew's a bad guy, really, to be fair. I think he is. I don't think he's a coward or a contradiction. He's just, as I said in my reply to him, he's grossly heartless and grossly insensitive. That's the problem I have with him. A reply video. I don't know if it's worth making a reply video. There's nothing in there really that I couldn't cover in the next comments reply video because he doesn't actually. I think what I'll do is also because I don't want to keep bringing up all this conflict with Ian, you know, and now Ian's gone. I don't want to keep bringing that up. But honestly, Caligula, I will. Caligula Commodus. You're named after the two most evil Roman emperors. That's interesting. But what I'll do is in my next comments reply video, I will go I will go through the comment that Andrew left. He left quite a long and scathing comment towards me on that video. Ian R. Crane dies, and I left a text reply which I thought was firm but fair. And I'll say more in my next comments reply video about that. But I don't think a reply video is warranted. There's nothing really new there. He made some comment about me using the word Hagbard Celine, the name Hagbard Celine in my forum name, which seems a strange thing. He said, "Oh, is it because I was in the Navy?" Well, actually, I've never served I've never been in Royal Navy service. I was in training for 4 months and got kicked out. That doesn't count as service. I chose it because I'm a fan of the what's it called, the Illuminatus trilogy, which is a fantastic book. And Hagbard Celine he's a character in that book, one of the greatest characters I've ever seen in fiction. Monopod BS. Andrew's article was really disrespectful to Ian R. Crane for really weird reasons. Yeah, Mono. It's I think it's out of order. That it's not the what he says. It's the time and the place where he says it. That's the problem I have with him. He has his. To be honest, he's not completely right about Ian R. Crane. He makes some fair points about Ian and others not so, but. It's the fact that he's already got material on his bloody website about Ian, and he has to write more now. I don't think why does he have to write again? And he wrote it in an article to do with me, and he adds at the end a load of stuff about Ian, which is, I'm not against speaking ill of the dead in principle, but I am in this case. I am because Ian was a good man. He was a great man. He was one of our pillars, and we've had one of. And I've said all I have before. I've done a special video and I've done videos for him, and I did a panel radio show all for Ian as well. He doesn't have to write any more shit about Ian. What you could do is you could simply link to his previous articles about Ian if he wanted. But why did he do that? And why did he put it in an article that was about me? Oh yeah. Yeah. Well, someone else said something up here. What was it? I missed a comment. Sorry, I'm sure I missed a comment. Someone asked, "Where is it? Where's your black tie, Ben?" says John Nolan. I don't have one. I don't have one. I don't know. I'm not wearing a black tie. No, I'm not going to wear a black tie. Pookie Nana, hello. Tina Silver says only 10 people allowed at the funeral. I know. I watched the video. Thank you to Matthew Williams actually I really appreciate Matthew Williams for filming that. I really do. 10 people were there. It was a wonderful funeral. Tina Silver said the Queen Mother's coffin was huge. Yeah, well, I think they may have folded the tail up, maybe shoved it between her legs or something. But of course, she's still of enormous stature. And Jake Yorkman asked a good question. So is Prince Philip a reptilian, and do they revert to their true form when they die? That's two very good questions. Answer to the first one is yes. The answer to the second, I don't know. I mean, if you read my sample chapters, the Obscurati Chronicles, I speculate that Nicholas II, the last king of Russia, reverts to his human form just after he's dead. He was murdered, actually. Jake Yorkman, I thought reptilians live for hundreds, or if not thousands of years. Oh, right, I don't know. Maybe he's not really dead. Yeah. Clockbite says he looked like a lizard in human form. He did, didn't he? Hello, Williamism. Hello, Willism, sorry. Bum Gravy, do you think if he dies in hospital a few weeks ago, only announced now so they could have a non-social distance national funeral? Bum Gravy, possibly. I sometimes wonder, actually, if he died at the time of that car crash, but they didn't announce it because Stephen Hawking died at the same time. And they didn't want the people comparing, because that's an important point, actually. If you remember, I watched the news, and I watched the live streams. Abruptly, we're doing a live stream from Buckingham Palace and Windsor on the evening he died. A lot of people turned up, but they were more curious than anything else. I wouldn't call them mourners. They were really curious, I would say, more than anything else. Now, you can't call people mourners who turn up and they're sort of laughing. I heard people laughing, but some people brought flowers and they laid them out. There was probably a couple of hundred. As I said, there was the horse-shaped balloon. But what about... Compare that to when Diana died. There was an ocean of flowers outside Kensington Palace, outside Buckingham Palace, everywhere. And people were crying. Or even you could say Diana was younger and it was things like that, yes, but she was obviously more popular. Stephen Hawking, of course, a commoner. When he died, it was quite surprising. Obviously, Stephen Hawking was well respected within the scientific community. He was a great physicist. But he wasn't actually... He was well respected outside the... He was very outside the scientific community. He was a major cultural figure. And he had a lot of fans outside the scientific community. And people admired him. People respected him. And yes, they loved him. And when he died, there were people lining the streets of... He had his funeral in Cambridge, where he lives. And there's people lining the streets. They were crying. And I don't think... See, when Philip has his funeral on the 17th, which is... It's actually next Saturday. The news people are actually... I don't think that you're going to get that response. The news people, you could see, were actually struggling to find anyone showing any form of sadness at the news. They interviewed a couple of people, and people were smart. He was a great man, great guy. We really liked him, but at the end of the day, he's pretty old, and he was very old. As the saying goes, he had a good innings, didn't he? And Steve 071, there's no mention of CV in the demise. Well, that makes a change, doesn't it? It's hard to die at any time in this world without that being blamed. He did have he had the vaccine, didn't he, a few days earlier? Yeah. And that is incredible. Earth Dog has confirmed that it was the 99th day of the year. That's incredible. He seems to be very fond of the number 9. I wonder if that's significant. Brenda says Ian was a top bloke. Was he worse? Oh, God, he was the best, Brenda. One of the best. A great man. I mean, if you haven't seen it, I think you might have been in chat at the time. I did a live stream for him, and I did a video about him as well. Williamism, 99 Red Balloons. That was that song, wasn't it? Yeah. Nihilist Lives Matter says they kept him on ice until a strategic moment. Certainly took the wind out of Meg's sails. And I bet she's fuming, isn't she? I don't think she cares. Harry, of course, Harry's just lost his granddad, but Meghan's probably stamping her feet saying, "You bastard, you," cursing the royal family. They've done the one thing that could upstage her. And they've done it. They've got a major royal figure dying. Caligula says, 1 thumbs down. Andrew Johnson is watching. Grow up, Andrew, honestly. You're thumbing down a video. Just, I'm going to thumb down this video. All right. I'm being a hypocrite now because I thumbed his down. Ah, yeah. William, poor China on CN something coming. What does that mean? Steve071, Ben, you just made a vid telling us that you're a shill. Oh, I can't believe Andrew brought that up. I mean, that's a joke. It's a bloody joke. I mean, he honestly, it's maybe he is a bit of a spurg, and that's why this is why I said he's not really a bad guy, but he's the heartlessness, the insensitivity, the tactlessness, I think comes from the fact he is a bit of a spurg, and that's not like making him a bad guy. It's just the way he is. That he couldn't understand the satire in that video. That's autistic people have a lot of trouble with that. You have to explain things to them literally. You know, if you make a joke, they can't always get the hint you're making in the joke, which is another sign that Andrew he's a bit autistic. You know. Tina Silva, Manila Times. Jeff, the tip I gave you was front until 4 from home. Oh, damn Manila Times. Oh. Damn it. Caligula. 2 thumbs down. D Hall has joined live. Oh, there'll be others. There'll be David Young, Sasha Christie. There'll be about 6 thumbs down. I think they just wait for me. They can thumb down. They probably sub to me and click the bell just so they can thumb down every video that comes out. Oh, dear. Ooh. TK, he was the Duke of the Illuminati. Prince Philip, let's have a look. I've got his bio here. I made a few notes here. He was a member of the Order of the Garter, of course, who's the Queen's elite order. He's the Knight of the Garter. The Queen's cousin, the Duke of Kent, is the Grand Master of the Scottish Rite of Freemasonry. No doubt he was involved in that. So it doesn't actually specifically say if he was his cousin-in-law, I suppose you could call him, was involved as well. But the Duke of Kent is the Grand Master, the highest ranking Freemason in the world. Technically, that makes him. Woody Black says, "Did you see DMX died as well?" Who's DMX? Sorry, apologies. Jake Yorkman. All I can say is Ian did so much for my local community. He and the others stopped the fracking of my area, and I will be forever grateful for that. We all know the damage fracking does. Jake, the history is going to remember Ian's name because it's because of him and people like him that fracking really has gone out of favour now, and it's got a lot to do with Ian and people like him. Yeah. And we have here, Ben, mate, can you please disclose why you were discharged from the NHS? Oh, I think you mean from Portering. There's an article on her Panwo. Oh, you mean the Royal Navy? It was a fitness issue. Oh, Navy training, it says. Yeah, it was a fitness issue. It was, I don't want to go into details. It was to do with mental aptitude. I don't want to go into details. It was a long time ago, and I was sad at the time, but, I look back now and I think maybe it was for the best. Who was DMX? Yes, a drug-related death. Oh. Monopod, good point, Ben. I think Andrew did that vile attack on Ian to draw attention to Andrew. I think he was... I think it's cruel and it's heartless of him. And yeah, it's cruel. It shows a lack of compassion, a lack of humanity, quite frankly. That as I say, it's not what he said about Ian, it's where he chose to say it and why. Including it in an article about me, and then Rather than just, you could just simply put a link and said, look, this is what I've said about Ian in the past. William asks, how's your neighbours, Ben? Well, Liberace's quiet, thank goodness. Who's had the jab? Oh, TK, yeah. I remember TK actually mentioned this, that he'd had the vaccine. It's up to you, TK. You know my opinions on that. It's up to you. And No One's Flower says, yes, if Stephen Hawking was who they said he was. Well, if you saw Andrew Johnson's twin brother and what he said about that, it's bloody... He did a good programme, actually, Richard D. Hall, explaining this. And you see, one of the doctors in my hospital said, how has this guy lived so long with Lou Gehrig's? Normally it kills you within 8 years. I mean, I think 10 years is the record. You're dead without... it kills you very quickly. Most people live 4 to 5 years with it from diagnosis. Yeah, this guy, he was diagnosed in the early 60s. TK says, you've got a terrible headache. Oh, TK, better now. Oh, I really hope, I wish you all the best, TK. I mean, obviously, I wish you hadn't done it, but now you've done it. It's what's done is done. Obviously, I don't think you should have the second one. Richard Best, the best thing to come visit. Interrupted Vanessa Feltz on Radio 2. I don't think she'll mind. Tina says there's no pic of Diana leading a Nazi parade. Yeah, that's genuine, apparently. He was there in this parade. His famous photo. You see him as he's young in those days. He's like I think he's in his teens. He's a teenager, but he is in this Nazi parade. Interestingly, going back to Philip's bio, it says here, here we go. From aged 18, he met the Queen, who was Princess Elizabeth. Here we are. He met Princess Elizabeth in 1939. No, sorry. He met her in 1934. She'd been very young in those days, and then in 1939, he was 18 in 1939. See, in 1939, he met Princess Elizabeth in 1934, and in 1939, from the age of 18, he began corresponding with her. The thing is, the Queen in 1939 was 13 years old. Now, I don't know what the contents of that correspondence was, but if you tried doing that nowadays, what would happen? You'd be stung by the nonce brigade. You see those videos on Facebook where they challenge, are you here to meet a young girl? They set up decoys to catch people who are attracted to young people. He'd be targeted by one of those, wouldn't he, if he did that today? Although I don't know what the nature of that correspondence was, but I mean, even if they have these things called slow grooming, where you don't actually say anything sexual to begin with. Philip was granted permission by King George VI to marry Elizabeth, and they announced their engagement in July 1947. July 1947. Did it? No, it can't be. I'm not that obsessed. I'm not saying there's a connection to Roswell here. It's interesting. He was originally Prince Philip of Greece and Denmark. This is an important thing. He's not English. I mean, like the Queen. You see, they speak with this, RP, very posh. They speak very posh like this. But neither of them are actually English, if you think about their ancestry. Prince Philip was born in a place called Monrepos, which is on Corfu, the Greek island. His name was originally Philippos, not Philip. It was Philippos, which was basically anglicised to Philip. Philippos is the Greek equivalent. There's his house. There's a photo of the house where he was born. A member of the House of Glucksburg, the ruling house of Denmark. So he was a prince of both Greece and Denmark. So he was actually part Danish as well. a patrilineal descendant of King George I of Greece and Christian IX of Denmark. So he was a member of the royal family of both the Greek and Danish houses. He was baptised Greek Orthodox in St George's Church in the old fortress of Corfu. And his maternal grandfather was Prince Louis of Battenberg, not Mount Batten. They changed it to Mount Batten. Battenberg. Berg means a mountain, so it's Mount Batten. You see how they changed it around? It's like the Queen was originally from the House of Saxe-Coburg-Gotha, a German line. She changed it to Windsor, which is just the name of the Windsor Castle. Oh, it was her. Well, it was actually George V who did that. George V changed it to Windsor, I think. This is interesting. In 1933, he was sent to the Schule Schloss Salem in Germany, which had the advantage of saving school fees. What? Oh, was he's they're pinching those pennies, those poor impoverished royals. It was because he was owed by the family of his brother-in-law Berthold, Margrave of Baden. With the rise of Nazism in Germany, Salem's Jewish founder Kurt Hahn filed persecution and founded the Gordstown School in Scotland, to which Philip moved after 2 terms of Salem. So this is interesting. He was at a German Nazi school, but the founder and headmaster, I presume, Kurt Hahn, was Jewish. So he fled to Scotland and founded the Gordonstown School, which is where Prince Andrew went. Prince Andrew and Prince Harry both went there. And Philip moved after 2 terms at Salem, so he wasn't there long, but then he moved to Gordonstown in Scotland with his headmaster, he fled persecution, not filed, fled persecution, and Philip went with him. So that's interesting, isn't it? Yeah. Right. This is interesting. In 1937, his sister Cecile, her husband George Donatus, hereditary Grand Duke of Hesse, her 2 young sons Ludwig and Alexander, her newborn infant, and her mother-in-law Princess Eleonora of Hohenzollern-Lich, were killed in an air crash at Ostend. I wonder how much she knew, Cecile. Maybe she'd seen something she shouldn't. Philip, then 16 years old, attended the funeral at Darmstadt. Both Cecile and her husband were members of the Nazi Party. The following year, his uncle and grand guardian, Lord Milford Haven, died of bone marrow cancer. Goodness me. They must have had some... Maybe they had some dirt on him, I don't know. It's just speculation, I don't know. He married Princess Elizabeth in November 1947. I'm just going to check, because I've there's been a lot of comments I haven't seen, so I'll go back and sort them out. Okay. Let's have a look. Yeah, so this is Tina Silver mentioning the Nazi connection. Yeah. Michael Snow said, "See the upset normies." Well, Michael, how many of them are really upset? Tina Silver, Saturday, says Tina Silver. Satan's Day, yeah. You don't normally have funerals on Saturday, does he? Okay, Pookie Dana says, F Meg. Yeah. I can't... the Meghan is like... I mean, I don't like... Harry... I mean, of course, Harry is not royal. I mean, technically he's not. I mean, they're keeping up the pretense, but, he is Hewitt's son, I think. The resemblance is uncanny. And it makes you think how... I mean, how kind of... what's his life been like, Harry? Because he must know the truth about his own paternity and his mother's fate. I mean, I think it was Tina actually who told me that he made some kind of comment at one point indicating that he knew about what happened to him. Nihilist Lives Matter says, are you on RDH's hit list also? I'm bound to be. I'm bound to be, you know. I don't know specifically, but, you know, any enemy of Andrews is an enemy of Richard's. Carol, hello, Carol Motzinger, welcome. I'm glad you. Is this your first time in a live chat? Welcome. John Nolan says Harry had to face the family on his own. Meghan's not going. That's right. She's not. She must be absolutely furious because no one's talking about her now, is it? Jake Yorkman. I will sub to your channel. I'll do it now. Jake Yorkman. I'll just find it. Because I think I already am. Hang on. I think I already am, Jake. I see you, Jake. Yeah, I see you. And you mentioned something. What did you mention about? You found a big cat. Oh, wow. That's interesting because they turn up everywhere, don't they? These cats. Yeah. Caligula Commodus says, I wonder what Philip left in his will and to whom. Well, he's enormously wealthy. I mean, the thing is, like, the thing about the Queen and Prince Philip is people said, oh, they grow rich off the taxpayers. I mean, this is the Republican argument. You know, they just waste taxpayers' money. The truth of the matter is, they are on the civil list, which means they're funded by the Exchequer. However, they have a massive private fortune. The Queen's private fortune is enormous. I mean, she's far richer than Elon Musk. She's the world's biggest landowner. She's bought up a lot of land under a fake name. You know, she owns the land on which Denver Airport is built. I mean, whether she actually owns that creepy airport or not, I don't know. But it was Alexandra Bruce, I think, found out that she'd actually bought that land under a fake name. And Denver Airport is this creepy airport which is built like some kind of weird temple, some Illuminati temple. It's got like Masonic symbolism. It's got gargoyles. It's got those horrible murals. Onslow, hello. Have you listened to Michael Yeadon? I think I did at some point. Yeah. Caligula says DMX had the vaccine. Who's DMX? I've really lost you there. Jake Yorkman says the reason I asked is because I failed also in that career path I considered at one point. It's something that's something, you know, to get into things, and not everyone gets through. I was very sad at the time, but you know, things go on. You know, I've moved on from that, and maybe it was. I wondered if I'd stayed in whether I'd be what I am now. Would I be doing this live stream? Woody Black says DMX was a rapper and actor. He was in the movie Belly with Nas. You know Nas, right? No, Woody, no. I'm a real square, man. I'm a real square. But I mean, DMX. Let's have a look at him. Hang on. All right, DMX. Here we go. Yeah. DMX rapper, here he is. Oh, I see him, yeah. He died, aged 50. Oh, right. Known as the Darkman X. Earl Simmons is his real name. American rapper, songwriter, and actor. Yes, actor. Oh, right. I'm not familiar with this kind of music. Sorry, I'm not like into jazz or anything really cringy like that. But I just don't. I'm not into hip hop at all. So what's apart from? Well, there's a couple of good ones. I think. Is there any good hip hop? I suppose Eminem's not bad. E.T. says, at the funeral, the song for coffin entrance should be Your sister is your mother, your father is your brother, you all shag one another, the royal family. I don't think Philip was a West Country guy, you know. Pookie says, did you notice the internet tabs in the check the evidence video? Very strange. Well, was there? What was it? I don't remember that. Oh. I'll have to watch it again at some point. Yeah. Steve Sanderson, hello Steve. Yes, this is an interesting point. Philip enjoyed shooting tigers and big game. Yeah, he's a wonderful conservationist. Yeah, head of the World Wildlife Fund, big game hunter. Oh, honestly, there's people who go around killing these animals. Community guidelines, but they deserve severe punishment. Especially some of them go after endangered animals. I mean, there's some of them are so sick. Like the last white rhino. There's like some of these bastards want to kill the last ever white rhino. And the white rhino now has to be completely surrounded by rangers to keep him safe. They've taken DNA. They're going to try and clone it, but. Nihilist Lies Matter says the Queen was 13. See where Andrew gets it from? Yeah. Oh, God. Yeah. I've seen that. What was Andrew's speech? Come on, Peter Express Andrew. What did he say? Let's have a look. Because I haven't listened to his speech yet. He made some speech. Here we go. Where is it? Oh, Anne has said something too. There we go. Prince Philip opportunity end royal rifts. Oh, Meghan is going to be furious. I can't actually see it, but I know that Prince Andrew made some kind of statement. I'll find it. Hang on. Here we go. BBC News. Let's have a look. Let's listen to old.
It's a terrible loss.
Can you hear that?
My father said to me on the telephone a few months ago that we're all in the same boat, and we must always remember that. But occasionally, we in the family are asked to stand up and show compassion and leadership. And unfortunately, with my father's death, it has brought it home to me not just our loss, but actually the loss that everybody else has felt for so many people who've, as it were, died and lost loved ones during the pandemic. And so we are all in the same boat.
That's enough of that. That's enough of that. Go and cry on Virginia Roberts Jeffrey's shoulder. I don't believe faux emotion, I bet. TK says, after having the vaccine, I can't stop watching the BBC. It has that effect, you see, doesn't it? Oh, let's go back to the more comments here. Where are we now? Hello, Lone Gunman. How are you? Woody Back says, TV licensing people keep sending me threatening letters, cheeky cunts. I like watching anything the BBC makes. Fuck the B. I like watching it to watch anything the BBC make. Fuck the BBC. Yeah, Woody, it's ridiculous. The TV license is dead. I mean, it's good. May it burn in hell. Why should we pay to have our minds warped? It's like forging your own shackles. Steve071 is in County Durham and watching snow falling. Yeah, it snowed today in Oxford. I was on my way home from work. It's snowing. Good. It's supposed to be April. Brrr. Well, I'm going to be. Well, I was actually going to do, before Philip died, I was going to do a live stream about the great reopening, but I'll actually do a video tomorrow about that. It won't be a live stream because I'm going to go and try and have a pint in a pub. William, see you, Williams. Thanks for Williamism. Take it easy, mate. Michael Snow Mountbatten was a nonce. He was certainly gay. I mean, in a time, he was certainly gay. I don't know if you saw my video, Last Viceroy of India. It was a film review of that. But, yeah, Lord Louis Mountbatten he was good friends with Noel Coward, who was a well-known dandy. Weird thing about Mountbatten was that he was killed. There was a spate of assassinations in 1978 and 1979, which were blamed on a splinter group of the IRA called the INLA, the Irish National Liberation Army. but there was a lot of rumour going around this was like being run by MI5. And the modus operandi, he was on a boat and there was a bomb put on his boat. That's not normally what the militant Irish Republicans do. And so there's a big question mark over whether he really was killed by, it really was the INLA that did it. There was a couple of other people as well. There was Eri Neve, and there was the ambassador to the Netherlands, whose name I can't remember. All within the space of a few months, these people were killed. Tina says, Tina Silver's had a blizzard. Good grief. Tina doesn't live far from me, and she's had a blizzard. Oh my God. Michael Snow says, what about the Diana's daughter conspiracy? Did she have a daughter? I know she was, there's rumours that she was pregnant by Dodi Al-Fayed when she was killed. Dusty81000, hello. Ben, what do you reckon to the vaccines, mate? Watch my video tomorrow. I'll go into detail on that. But as I said, I've been saying to TK, I personally will not be having any vaccines. I've covered that in more detail probably tomorrow, but I have mentioned this in past videos. Niles Matt says, Diana didn't leave a penny to charity. It tells you she was an opportunist. Either that or she didn't have control of her own income. Pookie Nana says, Lizzie Windsor. Yep. The richest woman in the world, says Nihilist Lives Matter. Correct. At least on the I think on the public level, yes. In terms of the Illuminati, she's probably the most senior person in the world. Floppy hands, hello. The Queen hides most of her wealth. Yeah, her private fortune is enormous, as I'm explaining. In terms of land, the horses, she runs one of the biggest, stud farms and things like that, and stables. She has them everywhere. She has them all over the United States. She owns a lot of racehorses and things like that. Yeah. Peaceful Warrior. Hope you're well. Hi, Peaceful Warrior. R.I.P. Big Man. But I hope you mean Ian and not Philip. Steve071. Ben, are you planning a new Dreaming Sources conference if no more lockdowns occur? I'd like to, yeah, at some point, yeah. But I want to do certain things, such as I want to make sure that everyone's paid. I mean, like Tino, I didn't manage to pay Tino anything, which was awful. Next time I'll make sure he's paid. Things like that. I want to make sure, put in more money, getting some savings and put in more in front of it. Yeah. Narlif says Muhammad Al-Fayed is 92. If he outlives the Queen, I wonder if he will drop some bombshells to try and bring down Charlie's monarchy. I don't know. The problem is he may be kind of involved. Obviously not in the death of his son, but he may have been involved in the death of Diana, but his son got caught up in it against his will. He wasn't told that his son would be involved. I don't know. George McKinley. Hello, George. How are you? I hope you enjoyed Third Rail and the recent mindset we did today. Tina. Is David Splendid Isolation here? Hello, David. Hello, KLF. Tina, you're a KLF fan. Brilliant. Well done. Pookie says, 2 of the tabs together read, Ian R. Crane is dead, and the next one reads, and that is a blessing. Really? Is that deliberate? I hope that could be a coincidence, but oh my God. If he said that, that's sick. That's that's not just heartlessness. That's not just. If he means that, then that's not just simply insensitivity. That is evil. I don't know though. I don't know them. Totus2 says, here's my tribute to HRH. Oh, thanks. There's a link there to that. And yeah, the 19th April, 99th day of the year. David Schultz says, speaking of owning land, Bill Gates is now the owner of agricultural land in the States, 242,000 acres across 18 states. And guess what he's planting there? Is he planting GMOs? Yeah. Totus 2 says 41 gun death salutes. 42 minus 1 equals 6 times 7. Expecting to come back. I don't know. The lights were low. Hello. Al McCall. Hello. Vanya Patterson. Hello. It snowed in Cambridge. Michael Snow. Fucking freezing in Nottingham. It's supposed to be spring, isn't it? Richard says, Richard Best, hello. Do you think the Queen will step down after his funeral, hand over the reins to Charles? I don't think so, no. Although that would certainly not. That would be another way of keeping Meghan off the headlines, wouldn't it? It depends if they're desperate to keep Meghan to upstage Meghan and keep her on page 4 or 5. That's the way to do it. Neil Peel, hi Neil. How are you? I've been doing an interview myself this afternoon. All right, Neil. I hope it went well. Look forward to doing another Apollo Detectives. Steve071, isn't William next in line? No, it's Charles, then William. Monopod says, some good news. Dr. Vernon Coleman returned to BNT this evening. Oh, good. Good old Dr. Coleman. The armchair man. He's cool, he is. He's cool. The Legend Real says the boat was called Shadow 5. Is that Louis Mountbatten's boat? Yeah. Israel Diego Vera Genius 2, hello. Pookie Nana says, check out Operation Steak Knife. It's about MI6 working with the high-ranking IRA to assassinate IRA informers. Yeah, that was very interesting. I don't know if you've ever seen... there's a book by Craig Thomas called... I think it was called Supergrass. What was it called? What was it? Harry's Game. Yeah, it was made into a TV series. Enya did the music. It was really good. Harry's Game, which was based supposedly. What's interesting is when that Craig Thomas writes a lot of spy thrillers and things like that. When it came out, people said that is so similar to Operation Steak Knife. How did he know? Diego Rivera, no to forced or coerced vaccines, no to vaccine passports, boycott businesses that impose this apartheid, disgraceful and shameful. Absolutely, I'm 100% with you there, mate. I really am. I'll say more about vaccine passports tomorrow, but it's someone made a point the other day. I shared it on social media. There's even the word refusing the vaccine is wrong. I mean, they say you don't refuse to have you don't refuse to go to the dentist. You don't refuse to go and have your blood pressure taken or something. You just decline. The word refuse itself is implying you have some kind of duty which you're refusing to do. It's like saying vaccine denier and vaccine refusee. It's that the word in itself is Orwellian. It's a part of propaganda. Jake Yorkman says it snowed here in York tonight. All right, Jake Yorkman, who lives up to his name. He's in York. Malaya Haya, hello. Clopite, hello. Ben, have you seen Rick Mayall's last film, One by One? Yes, I have. I've got the DVD of it. If you haven't seen it, please do see it. It's incredible. Is Jam Noise there? There's a character in that video. I'm sure it's based on Jam Noise. Pookie, I think you would... Pookie, you probably realise this because you know Jam Noise quite well. Jam Noise 72, I actually spoke to her about this. There's a character in there who looks and talks just like her, and I think they maybe knew her. But the director of the film was interviewed on several channels when it came out. The funny thing about Rick Mayall is it's on his... If you go to his Wikipedia page, it's all on there. His filmography and things like that, and the TV series he's been in. It's at the bottom. It's his last ever film, and it's not. It has no hyperlink to it. It's just there's no page for One by One. It's just there. But One by One is it's all about about the New World Order and stuff like that. And it's an incredible film. It's absolutely incredible. It's whoever the lady who directed it. I think she's read David Icke and things like that. It's incredible, yeah. Diego Rivera 2 says, Andrew Johnson's done a video about you. I know, we were talking about that earlier, Diego Rivera. Yeah. Steve071 says the vax will kill me. Yeah. The vaccine will kill multiplied times more than CV ever could hope to. I think, Steve, maybe it's intended to. That's the point. I mean, the people involved in biotechnology, oddly enough, are the same people who say there are too many people in the world. They'd say the world we need a lower population, and I used to work in electronics, and I'll move in. I think I'll move over to biotechnology. Yes. Tina says that the Queen owns Ascot Racecourse. No, doesn't surprise me. George McKinley says, Ben, what do you think the royal family knew Philip had pancreatic cancer? What do you think the royal family knew Philip had pancreatic cancer for 3 months and he would die? Meghan and Harry did their interview knowing that? I don't know, George. I mean, was that the cause of his death? Let's go back to his bio. Let's see. The consorts of the Queen, the accession of Queen to the throne, Charles and Diana, longevity in final years. In April 2009, Philip became the longest-serving British royal consort, the oldest ever male British royal in February 2013, and the third longest-lived member of the royal family, following Princess Alice, the Duchess of Gloucester, and Queen Elizabeth, the Queen Mother. Let's have a look here. He retired from public life. His in 2007, after his final engagement was meeting Royal Marines in his final solo public appearance, age 96. He had a hip replacement in 2018. Go on, yeah, then there's the 2019 car crash, yes, near Sandringham Estate. On the 9th of January 2021, the Philip and Queen were vaccinated against COVID-19 by the household doctor at Windsor Castle. Yeah, so it works against reptilians as well. It works for reptilians as well as mammalians. On the 16th of February 2021, Philip was admitted to King Edward VII's Hospital as a precautionary measure. Well, funny, and they named that hospital after the king who abdicated to marry. Well, this woman, this American divorcee, she's Wallis Simpson. She's known in Britain as Mrs. Simpson, simply. On the 23rd of February, it was confirmed that Philip was responding to treatment for an infection. On the 1st of March, Philip was transferred by ambulance to St Bartholomew's Hospital. He underwent a successful procedure for a heart condition on the 3rd of March, transferred back to King Edward's and discharged 16th of March. Philip died on the 9th of April 2021, aged 99, 2 months before his 100th birthday. The cause of death has not been disclosed, though the palace said he died peacefully. Right. His death led to the commencement of Operation Fourth Bridge, the plan for publicly announcing the death of Prince Philip and organising the funeral. That's right, it's the code word the media use. London Bridge is the Queen dying. He invented a new sport, apparently. This is interesting. He invented carriage driving polo, which is a sport. He apparently invented that sport. That's interesting. Oh dear. Oh yeah, he pays. Prince Philip has been portrayed by several actors, including Stuart Granger in 1982, The Royal Romance of Charles and Diana. Christopher Lee in 1982 as well, Charles and Diana, A Royal Love Story. In 2005, is by David Threefel, the Queen's sister. James Cromwell, the Queen, 2006. Finn Elliott, Matt Smith, Toby Menzies, and Jonathan Pryce. The Crown in 2016. All right, that's going on at the moment. Prince Philip appears as a fictional character in Neville Shute's novel In the Wet, 1952. Paul Gallico's novel Mrs. Aris Goes to Moscow, 1974. Tom Clancy's novel Patriot Games. I remember that. I've read that book in 1987. And Sue Townsend's 1992 novel The Queen and I. All right, I like Sue Townsend because she died actually a couple of years ago. But she was really good. She invented Adrian Mole. There was the Diaries of Adrian Mole, which were really good. I loved them. I thought they were brilliant. Tina Silver says there's a good video on YouTube of Muhammad Al Fayed burning the royal seals that used to be in front of Harrods. Hello, Johnny Brown. George McKinley says, ignore the haters. Thanks, George. I will. I just put them straight and then I ignore them. I mean, Andrew Johnson's no different to the others. I put him straight, and that's it. And I engage. It's just simply engage, inform, withdraw. That's my policy. Get in, say what you have to say, get out. And as far as Andrew goes, if I can't really, the video he made and the article, I can't really respond, because if I respond, it just would be repeating things I've said before, really. So, and not least on the comment on the Ian is Dead video, where Andrew put a comment on there. Hatchie, hello. Ben, you're the hospital porter with a soul. Yes. Doubt it has been put into you. Love and respect for what you do. Kev Bacon needs a call to help you with the woo. Chin up. Oh, thanks, Hatchie. Do you watch Kev Baker? Yeah, Kev. I love Kev Baker. He's a great guy. Oh, he's brilliant. Yeah, he's cool. Yeah, I'm going to be on his show again I think next week. Marky Boy, hello, Ben. Respect, mate. Steve071 says, hey, Israel Diego has been blocked by Andrew Johnson. Yeah. I'm sure I would be if I hadn't blocked him. I blocked him. If I hadn't, then he'd have blocked me, I'm sure. Caligula Commodus. Babylon Royal alleges the Queen's wealth 30 plus trillion. I'm hoping he doesn't upload regarding Philip. It wouldn't surprise me. I mean, if her private fortune could be anything. I mean, it's not declared publicly. There's no taxation on it. There's nothing. I mean, it's all. She does, a lot of it's in land and things like that. She probably owns a lot of gold, maybe a lot of precious gems and things. Oh, flick to the bottom. I've got 77 people watching. Blimey, I think is that a record for a live? I don't know. Floppy Hand says the Queen staying alive as long as possible, despite Charles. Charles is getting on a bit, isn't he? He's looking old as well. George McKinley says, I love the Apollo detectives. Ben, get your man back. Oh, Neil Peel, did you hear that? Niles Lives Matter says William is only a fraction less woke than Harry. They're very right on, aren't they? The royal sons. Harry, I mean, I do feel sorry for them. I mean, Harry especially, I pity, because of course he's been forced to live a lie, and he is with a woman, I think, who's really quite is a bad influence on him. I mean, it's like the interview with Oprah was just incredible. I mean, you could see she was leading him all the way. It's like, I don't want to sort of like criticise him too much. I mean, let's face it. I mean, you're all blokes. I mean, unless you're gay, have a weakness when it comes to women. I mean, who hasn't been when they've had their head kind of twist? They've had they lose their head to some woman. I mean, it's part of being a man. If you're gay, then it's another bloke. But I mean, it's David Schultz says, here in the States, the Democrats urge JoJo to make COVID vaccines mandatory for military after 40% of healthy Marines refuse the vaccine. Wow. Who is JoJo? What is she? Is that the Defence Secretary or Defence, whatever they call it, transsexual person? I don't know. 40% of healthy Marines refuse the vaccine. That's brilliant. That's very good. That's very encouraging. The numbers of people who decline, let's rather than use the word refuse, decline to be vaccinated in Britain is 35%. In the United States, it's 40% of the US Marine Corps. If that's translated to the rest of the population, then anyone who's bringing in things like vaccine passports are going to be in trouble. The system cannot work with that number of people not using it. TK says aliens rule the world, and meanwhile Andrew and Ben are arguing about nothing. I know what you mean, TK. It's sort of, it's not something I want to do, but I was just so angry. I mean, when Ian made this announcement, and I already knew because I'd heard from like a mutual friend, that Ian was ill and had this illness that was probably going to kill him. And he was going to have an operation. Actually, just before he put that, the Post was telling he was going to have an operation where he only had only had a 30% chance of survival. And then Andrew Johnson wades in with his size 12s and starts ranting about this, that, and the other. And I just lost it. So I didn't want to get in that situation, but I just was so furious. John Nolan says Megan will milk it when the baby's born for all it's worth. Yeah, I don't know when it's due, the new baby. Pookie Nana says it's a strange film. Do you mean One by One? It's incredible. It's an incredible film. I mean, it's so like David Icke. It's really straight out of David Icke. Caligula says, what do you think of Ian Puddock? Suspect or sound? I don't know. I'm afraid. I'm sorry. I can't. I've not really looked into him much. Michael Snow asked a similar question. What's all this shit with Brian Harvey? I don't know. Woody Black says, where is Andrew Johnson's video about you? I can't see it on his channel. I think it may be on his... He's got 2 channels, I think. I don't know. I had a quick look. I just watched it and then just left it, you know. And Pookie Nana says, have just checked their video again, and tabs 3 and 4 say Ian R. Crane dies. This is a blessing. From the 10-second mark. I'll just have a look, but it's TK's just found it now. If I'll check again, Pookie. I believe you. If that could be just a coincidence, but if Andrew meant to put it like that, saying that, then he's a sick man. He's a nasty man. If he did that, if he meant to do it. I mean, if he might put a comment saying, "No, I'm sorry, it was irrelevant. I got one tab about one thing, and then the thing that's a blessing is something completely different and not related." Then obviously that's not the issue. But if it is, then if he meant to do that, then that's evil. I mean, I really hope that's not the case. It's got a critical look at Ben Emelian Jones. You can't spell my. You can't spell my name properly. Yeah, that's it. But I mean, I hope it's just a coincidence. I really do. Darlif Slides Matter said, carriage driving polo. That's what you invent when you have too much money and too much time. Yeah. Steve071, they're now admitting that one strain of the vax causes blood clots. Yeah, they have withdrawn. I think it's the Oxford one, the Moderna. They're saying people under 30 can't have the Moderna. You've got to have the Pfizer one now. Well, you know, with proper trials, you know, they'd have worked this out if they'd had a trial, which they didn't have. They just rushed this thing into production. TK says, I won't be able to let you know if I die from the vaccine, or maybe I will be able to. Oh, TK, look on the bright side, mate. You might be all right. Woody Black says, quite frankly, it looks like the vaccine actually causes more harm than good. What's the fucking point then? Yeah, exactly, Woody. Louis Lee said, when I was 18, I did the Duke of Edinburgh award scheme for hiking. Great man. Well, you know, he brought out these various trusts and charities, which did a lot of good for people, I know. But there's another side to him, and which we shouldn't ignore, I think. The big Scottish midgie. Wonder if the SS will give Philip a guard of honour. The Woody Black says the DMX death live stream would have got more viewers probably. Maybe Woody, but I don't know DMX. I never heard about him. I don't listen to that sort of thing. Steve071 says, TK, visit Ben as an apparition one night. I'm sure he won't mind. Oh, I wouldn't mind, but you know, Steve, look on the bright side. You know, hopefully that won't be necessary. Funk Prepper, hello. Long time no see. My other channel was Funky Tripper. Funky Tripper. I filmed our dear friend Ian R. Crane in Waterlooville in 2012. That's for Philip going good riddance, lol. Yeah, I mean, Ian Ian was a hero. And as for Philip, I mean, obviously, I'm not going to say good riddance. I mean, you know, I'm not going to go as far as to say that. But all I'm saying about Philip is I'm pretty neutral about it, as most of the country is. I feel pretty neutral about it. There's talk about things, bad things he did, talk about good things he did. But as a person, he was not. The general public didn't. Most of them didn't feel much affection for him. He wasn't kind of like very. He wasn't widely loved and respected. Not on the scale of, say, Diana or Stephen Hawking, a commoner. Ronnie Barkey says, "Hey Ben, Ronnie. Hey Ronnie, how are you?" So the old chap who instructed MI6 to dispatch Diana's past. Great live stream, thanks. You're welcome. Now, I don't know personally if Philip was involved in that, but he must have known, and he didn't say. So that's. I'm be surprised if he didn't know, being that position. He certainly would have guessed what's going on, as indeed the others did. Harry must know as well. And, well, he didn't do anything to stop it, did he? Nihilist Metal Lives Matter says, Harry is a hostage to Meg's coochie. Well, to put it bluntly, yeah, he's in love, and, well, it's... Oh, David Schultz was talking about Biden, the guy who wants to make the Marines have the vaccine. Yeah. TK says, I'll move the alien around a bit so you know it's me. You'll come back. Funny, some people do that, you know, when they pass over. If you've ever watched the Life After Death project, Paul David's film about the death of Forrest J. Ackerman, it's very interesting. David's was great friends with this guy he was a science fiction fan who he ran a science fiction museum. And Forrest J. Ackerman, he was a lifelong atheist who didn't believe in an afterlife. But when he passed over, Paul Davids did he did the Roswell movie with Kyle MacLachlan. Ackerman sort of came back and visited him, dropping several hints and things like that, and David's made a documentary about it. And you know, I interviewed David's about that. Yeah. Green Sky, hello, how are you? Green Sky 17, hello. When do you think the mask's going to come off? Because I think a lot of people hide behind them now, maybe insecure or shy. I do wonder if Green Sky. I do wonder if people continue to wear them when they're no longer mandatory. That won't be much fun, will it? It'll be pretty awful. George McKinley says, Ben, Scotland is being taken over by nationalism. It's similar to 1930s Germany. If I speak out against the ruling regime, that causes problems. George, the nationalism of Scotland is actually it's not like they really want independence. They're federalist, basically. It's like the same with Welsh nationalists, like Cymru and that. They love the EU and they want Scotland to become an EU client state. I mean, what kind of independence is that? I know there's been a lot of fuss. I haven't been covering. I mean, Maya Tusi's been covering it in great detail. I haven't looked into it myself, but I know that. I know that there's going to be. I know there's a sort of like what's the word? There's been like Alex Salmon has gone and started a new party, the Alba Party. Doopy Hunter, hello. Why don't they tell us how the lizard died? Yeah, I mean, good. Steve071 says, read the comments on the promo of this live stream. Yeah, thank you for reminding me. Thank you for reminding me, Steve. I sometimes forget, and I will not forget this time. So I'll just get rid of any that is in the spam folder. Anything in spam? Show hidden comments. Okay. I'll just select them all, and I will approve them. There we go. All right. Well, Diego Rivera has said something here which I can't actually approve because it's for some they won't let me approve it. Hang on, although maybe they will. Here we go. Right. Let us go to the notice of upcoming live stream and to the comments. Okay. David Smith said it was the vaccine that killed him. Well, could be. Crafty Nihilist, he was 99 and died on the 9th. Now stand on your head. Tanya Cummings, my sister said something about him meeting Jimmy Savile. So vile on the other side, and how little boys are now safe. Well, you know, if there's a, I believe that, you know, you do meet you do have your comeuppance, so to speak, on the other side. I mean, like, this is what you get from near-death experiences. You know, you are sometimes, you know, you have a life review. Pat Royat, please be gentle and respectful, Ben. We've lost a great lizardarian. Bex Cobham says he's not dead. He just lost his ability to shapeshift, and now he's shut in the palace with the Queen Mother. He's, like I say, soul transfer. There's occult rituals that do that. Richard Best, I'm preparing for plenty of lizard talk. Well, Richard, I hope we haven't disappointed you. David Schultz said, you better watch out. The late Prince Philip might get his wish after all. If reincarnated, I would wish to be returned to Earth as a killer virus to lower the human population levels. Well, David, you know, Bill Gates must be chuckling right now. Yeah. James Cousins says, the Lizard King, now he did die, then or before, i.e. the car crash, and they announced it to go out on that date. The date has a numerological meaning, as pointed out by people on forums. P.S. Don't come back as a killer virus to cull the population. Words he said in 1998, evil man or lizard. Oh, both, if he says that. I mean, that is an evil thing to say. As for the 99th day of the year, the 9th of the 4th, 9th of February, not the 9th day, he's 99 years old. 99999 everywhere, yeah. And Steve071 echoes that. He left the stage a while ago, but I'm surprised it wasn't announced as a CV death. No one says the Duke was last seen in public on March the 16th, according to the Telegraph. These are the photos from that day. I've not watched any news coverage of the event, but I don't watch TV. They will, of course, want to stage manage the announcement. A period of national mourning, yeah. And you know what? Who's mourning? Apart from people close to him, who's actually mourning Prince Philip? Marky Boy, Nazi reptile. Diego Rivera, Prince Philip, RAH, rest in hell. Steve071, he'll be welcomed with open arms. Marky Boy, karma's a bitch. You know, I'm like I said, I feel neutral about it. I really do. I feel completely neutral. So definitely. Right, where are we now? Let's go for your comments again. I've got 90 viewers. My goodness me. Diggler TC. Hello, Diggler TC. Hey, Ben, do you remember a news report about 5 years ago when the Queen was seen running around Buckingham Palace grounds late at night in the rain in bare feet? No, I don't. Oh, hang on. Yes, there was some talk about how she was losing her marbles. Yeah. The big Scottish midgie says his reptilian code will simply be placed within another human vessel. Yeah. It's funny. I expect Andrew Johnson will now say that I'm being cruel about Prince Philip dying. You know. Well, you see. Well, Prince Philip's it's not a personal connection I have with Prince Philip, and to be honest, I think I feel very neutral about Philip. So I don't think I'm being a hypocrite here. I wouldn't if I knew someone who had a personal issue with somebody, I wouldn't deal with people on a personal level and say things like that. There's an element of detachment with Prince Philip for most people. Do you know what I mean? David Schultz says, from my point of view, the vaccine is like playing Russian roulette. Here in the States, 2,500 people were taken out, and that's not to lunch. That's considering the population of the US, that's still quite bad. I mean, Israel lost 100 people. We've lost 7 people here, apparently, from that. UFO Nuts says, hi, Ben, I had my COVID jab over a week ago, and I've had nothing but trouble, hot and cold sweats, breathing problems, and headaches, but not severe. I wish I hadn't had this now. UFO, I'm sorry about that. Obviously, you can't go back and undo it, but do call your doctor. Like, I would call your doctor, definitely, because it can be serious. I mean, this thing is, my dad and my brother had it. I've given up trying to talk my dad and my brother about things like this. There's just no point. They don't care. And they've been ignoring me now for years. So I didn't even try to talk them out of it. But my dad had a painful arm where the injection was, near the injection site, which spread down his whole arm. And my brother had like a bad night's sleep, and he was like really in a bit of a bad way. It wasn't as bad. Thing is, my brother had the swine flu vaccine in 2009, and he was sick as a dog. He was worse than me, and I actually had the disease. Michael Snow says the people who dealt with Diana have probably been bumped off, so they can't talk. Yeah, like SEAL Team 6, the people who allegedly killed Bin Laden, they're all dead. It's incredible, they're all dead. I mean, most of them were killed in this helicopter crash in Afghanistan, but the others had accidents. One was killed in a car crash. One's an amateur parachutist, and he was killed in an accident. His parachute didn't open. Hello, Charles Unleashed. Philip to Farage. You're one of those MEPs, aren't you, Farage? Yes, but I'm against them. Philip. Oh, quite. I quite understand. Ha. Yeah, it's Farage, and it's quite funny. Where are we now? David, Splendid Isolation. We'll be back in lockdown when the new strain hits each year. David, apparently, yes, I'll say more about this tomorrow. Well, I'm doing a video tomorrow because I'm going to try to go into a pub and have a pint, and I want to film it. So the video could be uploaded tomorrow. Maybe if I don't do it, I'll leave it, but I'll leave it for another day. But they're talking about a permanent pandemic now, which it sounds horrible, but all a permanent pandemic means is it's there all the time. It's basically a disease which is going to be with us forever. It's like the flu is a permanent pandemic. Colds are a permanent pandemic. It's part of the viruses we all have to deal with. David says, oh, they're a weak lot in Europe, weak and feeble, Margaret Thatcher. Oh, they are, aren't they? Yeah, they are. And unfortunately, Scotland is ruled by those kinds of people, weak and feeble and corrupt. I mean, what's good to say about people like Hamza Youssef and Nicola Sturgeon and Alex Salmond? I mean, what's good to say about them? Jackie Hatch, hello. Hi, a joke. I never forgot what travels 150 miles an hour across the Irish Sea. Lord Mountbatten's plimsolls. Oh. Diggler TC, what's that? I wonder if Ben remembers it. So I lost the train of this conversation. Apologies. Diggler TC. Ben, do you remember? Oh, right, that's the Queen running around with her shoes off. Yeah, I don't. That was a weird thing. Yeah, that was. I do remember something about it. It was just. It was in the news briefly, and then it was dropped. Yes, it was just stopped. We just never heard anything more about it. Anna Malante Bev says, when the Duke opened a local bakery, his car registration a few years ago, his car registration was 666. That's an odd coincidence, isn't it? George McKinley, Ben, will we get disclosure in June? I saw the triangle craft disclosed by the US DoD. All right, yeah, I've done a Hapanamo Voice article about that. As for disclosure in June, I've just done a video about that as well. And we bring it up actually on the Mindset, which is the one we did today. So stand by for the latest Mindset, and you will. I don't know if you'd get it on Patreon, but you can listen to it now if you get it on Patreon. So now, Astri, how are you? Gail W, oh, how are you? Hey guys, how's it going? UFO Nuts is talking about the AstraZeneca vaccine. Big Scottish Midgie says, imagine the pride of your commitment to saving wildlife by starting the WWF and going shooting lions in Africa with another royal twat, Faye Holland. That is sick, man. That is, yeah, I mean, community guidelines, but anyone who goes to these places, and a lot of these animals are endangered. They're endangered species. As I say, the elephant population is dropping fast. It's loss of habitat, it's poaching, it's all kinds of things. It's urban sprawl. Basically, there was a time when lions roamed all of Africa, including like Morocco, as far as north as Morocco, all the way from Cape of Good Hope to Morocco and all these other things. It's like, and then the big game hunters, honestly, are the scum of the earth. They really are. I mean, it's not like you're hunting something to eat it. They don't eat these animals. Jock of Ages, hello. How are you? No problem. Late show, not a problem. Diggler says the Queen is said to be in a panic, running around the wet grass at 3 a.m. in the dark. But it's not on the internet now. But yeah, I do remember something about it. I can't remember the details, but it was covered up. David Schultz says Georgia in the States is the third to shut down Johnson & Johnson vaccine site due to adverse effects. The other states are North Carolina and Colorado. It's weird because wherever you go, these stupid songs coming out. There's like a hip hop song, was it? Community Immunity. That song, how wonderful it is to get the vaccine. I won't even dare to play it. It's a bloody horrible. It's a really stupid thing. It's been promoted as the best thing. Go get your vaccine, isn't it wonderful? And then people are dying. Ema Padima, the death rate is currently well below the monthly averages. They burnt off the dead timber with DNR notices and ventilators in April to create the spike. Oh, they had to justify the next lockdown, didn't they? Pookie Nana, only vaccinated people are going to be evacuated from St. Vincent's volcano disaster. Oh my God, is that a joke? Pookie, I've got to ask you, is that a joke or is it serious? Because it wouldn't surprise me if it's bloody serious. It really wouldn't. Sonara's Ashtree says, I feel like I'm living in a parallel universe, Ben. Why the hell would anyone voluntarily take the vaccine? It's mind-blowing. I know, it's Sonara. I try to talk to people about this. I mean, like I said, my brother and my dad have both had it. My daughter's not going to have it. She's got more sense. I think she, all that time through her teenage years where she was laughing at me, as a teenager, she said, "Oh," she used to call it's that David Icke stuff again, is it, Dad? Now she's 26 and she's older. She's matured. I think she's coming around to seeing things the way I see them. It's almost like a kind of it's like it all went in there, But my dad and my brother have completely rejected everything I say, and I never speak to them about UFO, paranormal, conspiracy theory things. Never. Michael Snow says you'll freeze if you go drinking tomorrow. Judging by the weather forecast, I probably will, but I'm going to do it anyway. I'm not sure I'll get in. Actually, I might turn up at the pub and they'll say, "Where's your vaccine certificate?" or "You got to book in advance," or something like that. If that happens, obviously I can't do it, but I'm going to try. Clopite says, Ben, have you heard of SPA's 2025 to 2028? No, what's that? Hatchy. Jackie Hatch, Ben, is fully aware of the truth. A filmed pub tomorrow will be great. I'll do my best, Hatchy. I'll be talking all about the vaccines and passports and things like that tomorrow. I will. Oh, a new event 201? Is that like one of these emergency situations? Yeah. Eamon Padima, this Occam's razor tells you there's no SARS-CoV-2. Oh, that's the most likely outcome is the right one. I mean, I personally think there's a virus, but it's been used. I think the intention was to spread it deliberately, but it escaped from the laboratory before they had the chance. That's why it all came from one place. We know where it came from. But it's obviously it's been used, isn't it? It's a flu-like virus that's been exploited. Charles Unleashed said, maybe the Queen was running barefoot in the rain because she was dreaming she was John Brown. That's an interesting story, that John Brown, because there's a rumour, there's a royal rumour that he and Queen Victoria were married just before she died. We know that she loved him very much. I mean, whether it was a platonic relationship or whether they were a couple, We know they were very fond of each other. And when she was buried with a lock of his hair in her coffin. I think it was just before John Brown died, because he died first, I think. And the rumour has it that she had a deathbed wedding with him. I don't know. Nihilist Lives Matter says, I've run around my garden shoeless. Yeah, I have too, Nihilist. Well, I don't actually have a garden here, but when I lived in a house with a garden, I did. But I don't live in Buckingham Palace where loads of people can see me, and I'm a lot younger than the Queen. Yeah. Pookie Nana says, hitting like increases visibility. Oh, well, go ahead, be my guest and do so, Pookie. I'm sure you probably have, No, until I trod on cat shit. I know, that's always a problem, isn't it? Oh, you got to watch out for that. David Schultz says about the AstraZeneca the health problems associated with the AstraZeneca vaccine. Yeah. Funny enough, there's a woman in Ireland. I think was it Gemma O'Doherty was talking about this. I can't remember, was it Thomas Sheridan? It's one of the really great Irish people who were on our side. But there was a woman who was actually told by her GP not to try and have children for 3 years, just before she was, if she wanted to have the Moderna vaccine. What? Don't try to have children for 3 years. What? I hope she said bugger off after that. Knowledge Lives Matter says there's an argument that keeping a livestock of endangered animals keeps the species viable. Not endorsing it, just saying it's an argument. Yeah. Oh, for hunting. Oh, well, it depends how many there are, because it's just like... I mean, I'm not a vegetarian, okay? I eat animals. At the same time, I wouldn't... If it's an abundance, I understand that nature is nature, but... I've not heard about that. I really haven't heard about that. But in the case of the big game hunters in Africa, I know there are like special parks set up for them now. I suppose if they're going to kill something they intend to eat and it's an abundant species, I mean, what's the moral question against it? I mean, I eat cows. We eat beef, pork. We eat cows, pigs, things like that. John Nolan says, watch out, Ben. Johnson will get Richard D. Hall to make a video about you. Ben's a shill. I've always known it. They might well. I mean, they are, honestly, they can be really, those two can be very spiteful. They really can. And usually it's because someone's disagreed with them, because someone has not... They've done a program about 9/11. This is the thing with Red Ice. They did a program about 9/11, and they had Niels Harrit on. And I know that Sir Henrik did a reply video to Andrew Johnson when Andrew Johnson wrote an article slagging him off. Niels Harrit is a Thermite man, and I mean, again, I actually agree with Andrew about Dr. Judy Wood. Definitely, I do. But I mean, I suppose I try and be a bit more... I suppose I'm more diplomatic than those two. No, obviously I'm not a pushover, though, as you found out. I'm willing to... As you can see, I'm not scared of making enemies if I have to. Kellen Jones, hello, how are you? Have you seen the Parkinson interview with Jimmy Savile talking about taking a young lady to meet Prince Philip? Proper creepy. I haven't, Kellen. Is that right? Because Savile wrote a book all about... He mentions his girlfriends, and people think he's just joking, that he meets when he's at the BBC on Top of the Pops. He says, oh, my girlfriend's here again. These are regulars in the Top of the Pop studio, and things like that. And everyone thought, oh, he's just kidding, he's just having a laugh. He doesn't mean girlfriends, literally. He means just some young teenagers, girls who turn up to take part in the studio. But, oh, my God. Kellen, could you find us a link? I know that some of them went along, and they were some of them were quite well known. For example, Julia Hernandez, who's an actress. she was touched up by Savile, and she's confined to a wheelchair. She used to be in El Dorado. Do you remember El Dorado, the soap opera? She's a wheelchair user, and she can't really run away. And bloody Savile was like groping her. Charles Unleashed. Ben, you were just possessed by Brian Cox when you mentioned the vaccine song. A community immunity, knobbers. Michael Snow says there's been propaganda on EastEnders. Not seen it, but sounds ridiculous. I haven't. EastEnders is full of all kinds of propaganda. Now I don't watch it. I can't bear it. But there'll probably be some clips I'll probably find. You know, some people do these kinds of duties for me. You know, find these clips of things. Big Scottish Midgie says you'll have to book in advance to use the public toilets. Yeah, and you'll need to show your car. You'll need to show your passport and everything. It's unbelievable. I mean, I'll say more tomorrow, but for goodness sake, they've got trial. It's not even been passed through Parliament yet, and they're already spending millions on trials on pilot schemes. Let's have a look at my notes. Hang on, what was? All right. One more interesting thing about Philip. Philip was into UFOs. It's quite. I mean, there's quite a. In fact, John Hansen was posted the other day. He's unblocked me now. I'm not going to. He hasn't sent me a friend request, and I'm not sure I'd accept it after what he said about me. But he did. He did post saying that he was very proud because Prince Philip has a copy of one of his Haunted Skies books. Prince Philip actually had an equerry, a personal assistant called Sir Peter Horsley, who met an alien. He was actually a friend of his invited him round to her house in London, and there was an alien there, and he met this guy he thinks was an alien. The guy he said was human in appearance, although looked a bit strange, like a Nordic, called Janus. His name was Janus. And it's a really interesting conversation that you can find out if he's written a book. Now, Sir Peter Horsley's he's not a loony like me. You won't find him standing on some hillside in his Wellingtons with a camera pointed at the sky. No offence, Winkeech. Sir Peter Horsley was he was a Spitfire ace in World War II, and then he was on the organising committee of NATO when it was first formed, and he was head of Strike Command, which was the RAF's nuclear bombers. Basically, he had his finger on the button. He now to get that kind of job, you've got to be very, very sane indeed. It's not the thing that anyone can apply for. Yet he said he met an alien. Yeah, I'm on 93 viewers. This is a record, guys. This is a record. Should we get it up to 100? Yeah. Charles Unleashed says that's where the brand Victoria's Secret came from. Victoria had a high sex drive. That wasn't really a secret. Oh, right. Maybe she did. I mean, like, people's sex drives vary. But, I mean, she and Albert were at it all the time. You know, he used to pierce his knob. That's where the Prince Albert thing comes from. Now, Eamon, I don't know, you're mentioning Occam's Razor and the SARS again. I'll have to go into that, I'm not sure exactly. But Paul Armstrong says, I am my wife's consort, or is it only bluebuds who have them, lol? Consort is an odd word, isn't it? It just simply means husband or wife. Eamon says Gemma O'Doherty understands it doesn't exist. Well, you know, I've got a lot of respect for Gemma. I think she's wonderful, and she's doing a fantastic work. I'll look into what she says about it. Cosmic Claire, hello, how are you? Hatchy says, Ben, if you were as old as the Queen, I'd be worried. It's Charlie. That's bringing in the Great Reset. Long time for a pot of Vaseline. What's coming? Yeah. Love Kay Baker and Mr. Whistles. Yeah. Johnny Whistles hasn't been on the show for a while, but yeah, he's cool, isn't he? You know. David Schultz says, here's some food for thought. The pandemic was the years in playing. There's an article entitled Dead Microbiologist by Jim Mars, exclusive to Rents.com, which is, bloody hell, 2014. Well, several people have predicted this sort of thing, David. Several people have said this is what they're going to use. They're going to use the pandemic a pandemic of some kind, to bring in like a more authoritarian government. Charles Unleashed says, if there were as many shills as Richard Hall keeps claiming, then nothing would be kept secret. Yeah, I mean, thinking about the shill business is there are people I would consider shills, and I wouldn't accuse them publicly without evidence. But when it comes to shill shaming, if you become overzealous, it does far more harm than good. And I've cautioned Richard about this because, he'll say things like, for example, Linda Moulton Howe, she disagreed with him over the human mutilations thing, and suddenly, she's been compromised, Richard's very careful how he words things. He doesn't sort of say, that person's a shill. He just says, there could be a reason why they're doing this. I'm not sure I should say what it is, but I've got my suspicions. He'll say something like that. He said these things about all kinds of people. Miles Johnston, for example, who I know personally very well, and it's nuts. It does do more harm than good. That kind of paranoia there's all kinds of reasons why it does damage. Firstly, because the real shills operate under the radar. The signal is lost in noise. That's one reason. I mean, it's ironic because I always thought, I just thought at some point I'm going to disagree with those guys, and they're going, Richard and Andrew, and they're going to turn against me. I'm going to disagree significantly with them on something, and they're going to turn against me. As it happens, it's actually happened because over a personal issue. It's ironic, isn't it? I haven't disagreed with Andrew Johnson over any of his rational points. It's just a personal dispute over his behaviour, basically. Digler makes the point. Yeah, Bill Gates said he would use vaccines to reduce the population. Where's that clip? Let me see if I can find that clip. Yeah, the next outbreak, we're not ready. TED Talk 6 years ago. There's one things where he just says, I can't find it on YouTube. It's difficult to find because the thing is, YouTube search they've changed the algorithm, so things like the little 20-second clip where Bill Gates says this is somewhere on YouTube. I can't find it because the YouTube have basically algorithmed it down the list. They're doing this to my channel now. I'm getting, my viewing figures are a third of what they used to be. Why? It's not because I haven't got any less subscribers. I mean, my subscribers are still growing, although some people complain they've been unsubscribed for me without their permission. I've heard of things happening like this. But it's basically, unless you're literally searching for my kind of subject matter and are willing to scroll down a bit, or you're already subbed to me, you won't even see my videos. Nihilists Lives Matter says, RDH lost all credibility when he started asking victims of Manchester to contact him after insisting it was a psyop. If you were a parent of a victim, would you like to call him only for him to call you? Nihilist, were you the one who told me you knew somebody who actually did die in that? And I see it's not a bad thing for him to do, because I don't see why does that reduce his credibility? He's investigating. Oh, I see. To call you a liar or a shill. Would you want to call him only for him to call you a liar or a shill? Well, I see what you mean. If you, like I said, if you use a lot of his other tactics, you think he might not be sympathetic to you. I don't know. I don't know. I don't have an answer to that. Hello, Johnny Brown. How are you? Nihilist Lives Matter says, I got 101 views. Yeah, we crossed the 3. That's my first 3-figure live stream. Thanks very much, guys. Phil Mitchell goes for his jab, probably. Yeah, doctor, I want to have my vaccine. Can you get me my vaccine, please? Yeah. It'll be something like that, yeah. Villanora, hello. David Keith, greetings. Where are we now? Big Scottish Midgie. Philip was into UFOs because he stepped out of one. Well, you see, maybe it was his own background. May have been a source for his interest. Yeah. John Nolan says he said he put a girl in the boot of his car on Parkinson. That's Jimmy Savile. Really? And everyone thought he was joking. Villanora mentions Timothy Good. Yeah, he mentions it in. I think it's Need to Know, but which is one of his books are all quite similar. But yeah. We still got 100 views. That's nice. Richard Best says, Hugh, Janus, I believe, was the alien's name, if I remember right. That's it, Janus, yeah. Richard, he had a long conversation with this guy, and he says, I was interested in meeting Mr. Janus. I got the distinct impression he could read my mind. I mean, this is a guy who he had his finger on the button. He was RAF Strike, head of RAF Strike Command. You know, he's not the kind of person who would make this sort of stuff up. I mean, if I came out with a story like that, I mean, I don't know if you believe me. I mean, I hope I always try to be honest. But if these, like a lot of UFO stories like this, they come from people who don't have an existing interest or not the kind of people who would make this sort of stuff up. But this I think is one of the biggest reasons to take it seriously. Yeah, Green Sky says, Farsight's done a good one about what happens to the dinosaurs. And this was not some wandering piece of rock, but was pushed deliberately, not just to kill off the dinosaurs, but the reptilians. Right. Charles Unleashed says, Janus was a Roman god, not a Norwegian. Yeah, Janus is the god of, I think it's Saturn, isn't it? It's Kronos. Kronos is the Roman word for Saturn. Janus. Janus was the god of beginnings and traditions in Roman mythology. But he had the two faces like Kronos, yeah. Presided over passages, doors, gates and endings, as well as transitional periods such as from war to peace. Usually depicted as having two faces, looking opposite ways. There is no equivalent of Janus in Greek mythology. All right, so he's a purely Roman invention or Roman creation. That's interesting, isn't it? Richard Eman says, Richard D. Hall was asking for any witnesses to contact him, not just relatives of the supposed victims. To be fair, Eman, that's kind of what an investigator should do. I mean, this is, that thing he did on the Manchester bombing really convinced me, That was excellent. That and Joe Cox was some of Richard's best investigations. It really was. Digler says, is Richard D. Hall okay? He hasn't done anything on YouTube for ages. I'm not in touch with him personally. But I know that Richard tends to he does like a series of programs for about a couple of months. Then he goes quiet for a few months, and he brings out another series of programs. And he does a live show and things like that. But he probably will come out with some more programs in a little while. Maybe he may cover. I was wondering if he was going to cover something to do with Sarah Everard. He may well cover that, and he might have a go at me as well. He'll probably have a little snipe at me at some point because of Andrew, but but generally I watch his stuff avidly. I think he's very good. Maureen, how are you? It's Maureen from Truth Seekers Northeast. How are you, Maureen? I miss you guys. I would love to see you guys again. I really would. I miss you so much. You guys, I would like to join your Zoom calls. I want to join your Zoom calls, but it's always just before when I'm preparing for her Panwo Radio. So yeah, but it's great. Thanks for joining me, Maureen. I hope everyone's all right, the family and the group. Virulent Aura says Project Camelot is gone. Yeah, they were taken off YouTube. They're not gone. I mean, they're on BitChute. Like, if anything it disappears from YouTube, you'll find it on BitChute. And I always watch all the edgy stuff on BitChute now. Anyway, BitChute's full of bugs. Like my current BitChute channel's not working. I just can't upload. It's impossible to upload anything but just like little short videos. It's hopeless. But all the dodgy stuff, I always watch on BitChute or Odyssey. My YouTube, I just use YouTube for normie things now. Like, I saw David. What was his name? David Smith. What's his name? I ran into him on a video. We in the comments section of a video all just about ships and about sailing, and it was about there's this guy he's an engineer on a ship who does a vlog, and he said, "Oh, it's you, Ben. Fancy meeting you here." Emad Padima says, "I don't believe Manchester Arena was real for several reasons, but for one thing, that shrapnel blast would probably miss people's faces so reliably." Well, there was several. Richard goes into it in detail, but the stories of the people involved, there are questions that need to be asked. So Richard was right to ask those questions, and asking people to contact him is a good way of doing it. To be fair, and now someone posted on my channel, that said Richard doesn't know what he's talking about. I know someone who was in that arena, and I know what happened to them. And I said, get them to contact Richard, because If Richard is honest and he's wrong, he'll put that out there because he wants to talk to people like that. Nihilist Lives Matters asked, "Do you think he'd take their experience in good faith or immediately dismiss them as liars if it doesn't add up to his view?" Well, I hope, Nihilist, that he would talk to them, because what you'll find is if people are suspicious and they're hiding things, they just don't speak to you. And this is what Richard's found. He's found that people. Remember, he actually just simply wrote a letter to this guy who was a witness to the Joe Cox shooting. He was a witness to, what was it? I can't remember the details, but he wrote to someone who supposedly saw Thomas Mayer walking up his road. But he just sent him a letter, and this guy called the police to Richard for harassment, just for sending a polite letter asking for information. And the police, of course, they always act on things like, if you want the police to contact someone when you accuse them of harassment, of course they'll rush round, won't they? It's a non-crime hate incident, yeah. Eamon says, "You don't have to rely on Gemma O'Darty. Just understanding the methodology of how it's supposedly isolated raises the obvious questions." All right, you are, Eamon. Maybe so. Charles Unleashed says, "Bill Gates wants to block out the sun now. Would you trust someone who cuts his hair with garden shears?" He looks in a bit of a state, doesn't he? Yeah, he looks in a state. Lisa, how are you, Lisa? Lisa Cry Freedom, how are you? Thanks for joining me. Great you're here. There we go. Where are we? Oh, great. Villanora says, "Bill Gates, what a twat." Yeah. Hatchie says, "Ben, you are the takeover from Mr. Jimmy Mars, RAP. Now tell us more of the South Wales UFO crash of 2016-17. Well, Hatchie, that is praise indeed. I mean, no one can take over from Mr. Mars. He is the king of the kings. He is the tinfoil hat wearing god. No one can take over from him. Definitely. Yeah. 100 viewers, everyone says. Yeah, thank you. I'm very proud of myself. This has been my most popular live stream. I average maybe 50 to 60 views mostly, and I get a few more on the recording. But you know what it is? Again, it's algorithms. David Schultz says, Bill Gates said about 700,000 people will be taken out, and that's not out to lunch worldwide due to the vaccine. Oh, right, so that's a nasty way of putting it, isn't it? Considering, what is it, 2.5 million are supposedly dead of the coof, and certain percentages of that number are going to die of the bloody vaccine. I'll take my chances with the coof, thanks. Eamon, I think Richard D. Hall would give them a fair hearing. Yeah, I think he would. He's a difficult man, personally, but he's honest. He's an honest researcher, I think. I trust him. Marie McLaughlin, hi, how you doing? Thanks, Steve. Steve071 said, good show tonight. I'm enjoying it, I really am. I've been going nearly 2 hours, but I don't want to stop. Lisa says it's horrendous to watch the current playing out, but it has been said the people have to be shown. Beyond tragic, but necessary, it seems. Have I pressed record? Oh, yes, I am recording. Good. Jay Lee. No, Ben. Tim mentioned it in Alien Liaison. Right, you are, Jay. Alien Liaison. I've got a copy of that, I think, as well. Eamon said, research the work of Stefan Lanker, Sam Bailey, Tom Cowan and David Crow to see how he is to mistake endogenous RAN for viral RNA. I don't know, right. RNA. Because RNA is what they go in, I don't know the details, it goes into the cell and reproduces using the cell. They can't reproduce on their own like most life can. Steve071 says, Ben, have you heard anything lately regarding Tim Good? He's kind of retired. I mean, he's pretty old now. He's about 80, I think. And he's retired from music and as well. And he's not written any more books since Earth and Alien Enterprise, which came out about, I think, 2014. But as far as I know, he's well. I haven't heard anything to the opposite. I don't know him personally. I know a couple of people who know him, but Jackie says, no royal would ever have the vaccine. It's a con to repopulate the massive. Cosmic Claire says, talks about the Zickelbub meteor. Yeah. She's been watching Graham Hancock like me. Hi, Ed Kayla. Eamon says, most people who talk about gain of function and so usually have no idea how long SARS. Oh, right. Well, Eamon, if that's the case, that's the case. You know, maybe you're right. Maybe Gemma's right. David, oh, it's you, wasn't it, David? Yeah, it was you. I thought I knew that. I remember someone telling me this. My girlfriend is good friends. This is David talking with one of the Manchester bombing mother's victims, Liam and Chloe. Then David, you know, have they agreed to speak to Richard? Right. Maureen says Richard D. Hall is on his own webpage. No new stuff on the YouTube from Richard. Now it's Richard will come. He'll bring out some new information, but he does it in bursts of about 8 programs, and then he stops for a bit while he just researches and makes the programs. But if he goes quiet for a while, I don't worry because he does return. He does come back. Animal Auntie Bev says, did you see the mummy parade in Egypt last week? I heard about it. I sort of said that they've got another mummy now, haven't they? They can send Philip over there. Or maybe Joe Biden. I mean, no one will know the difference, will they? But that was weird, wasn't it? Yeah. Oh, Maureen says, we miss you too. We'll have you back up north. Anytime, Maureen, anytime. I can't wait. I can't wait. I miss you guys terribly. I miss a lot of people. I mean, I haven't seen so many people, man. I haven't seen. And you're on the top of my list of people I want to see. Charles says, the Roswell crash was caused by Richard D. Hall punching the air. It was a terrible accident. I think we're going to have to make some memes. You know, like the Bernie Sanders meme where he's sitting there with his mask on. We're going to have to make some Richard D. Hall memes with him punching the air. We could see like the Roswell crash. Richard punching the air. Oh, someone asked me about the South Wales UFO incident. The people to ask about that are Gary. I mean, I've got some details on my videos I made, but the latest news is you need to get in touch with Gary Jones or Kaz Clark. because that's where all the latest information is. Oops, down we go. Maureen and Lisa are making friends, which is great. I think you two will get on perfectly. Charles on Lisa's, no, Ben, Richard D. Hall won't even look at anything that contradicts his viewpoint. I've tried. I can't speak for your experiences, Charles. Only you can do for that. I hope that's not the case. I hope that he would be willing to talk to someone involved in a Manchester bombing. You know, I really do. Hatchie says, Project Camelot. Ben, you are genuine. I remember Q. Lol, I'm still waiting. Bring on Mr. Chris Everard. Chris Everard, I get his newsletters, Chris Everard, every so often. And I did interview him once over Diana, the anniversary of Diana's death. But you know, I don't. A lot of his stuff. I think all his stuff's behind a paywall now, or most of it. And I mean, I'd love to sub to like Enigma, but you see, if I sub to Enigma, I want to sub to other things. There's so many things I want to sub to. I mean, what can I do? I mean, I can't sub to everything. I don't have enough money. So it's a difficult choice to make if you want to sub to something. As for Q, well, I did some old tech exclusives about Q, and obviously, like you see, I take a different view on QAnon to a lot of other people. And there's the cynicism about Q has grown even more, of course, since the inauguration of the so-called supposed president. That weird inauguration when no one turned up and there was like everyone was in black. I've done alt tech exclusives. I've done some videos on that are not on YouTube about that. There are notices on my channel, but the videos will never be uploaded to YouTube. But obviously, Biden being put into the White House was not part of the plan. And there are some people who say, yes, it's part of the plan. I don't understand how that could be part of the plan. But this doesn't mean, despite everything, you see, I don't think we should be lamenting. I mean, just look at Biden and Harris and Pelosi and these others. They're walking around like, oh, God, you know, they're terrified. They're supposedly, if the deep state had really won the kind of victory they're supposed to have won, then why are they not celebrating? Why are they not, you know, why is Biden not walking up and down Pennsylvania Avenue, waving to his adoring fans and doing the Lambeth walk backwards and forwards? You know, I mean, he's supposedly supposedly, what, 90-odd million people voted for him? Where are they? They're not even watching him on TV. They're all watching Trump. Trump's CPAC speech had about 4 times the number of viewers as anything Biden has ever done, as Candace Owens gleefully pointed out. David says, when they find out Hall is a conspiracy theorist, most of them won't want to speak to him. Well, why? The thing about it is, if in their situation, why wouldn't they want to speak to him? I mean, he's an investigator. He's a journalist. I mean, if they look him up, and it's possible they won't want to speak to him for that reason. But then that just looks suspicious, doesn't it? Denise Moore, hello. Darlis says the parents won't talk to RDH for the same reason RDH won't do a mainstream media interview. It's like there's this sort of like bifurcation. There's this gulf between the mainstream world and the woo-woo world, as Paul Armstrong calls it. It could be that, yeah. It could be. Charles Unleashed says, actually, I wasn't joking. Gates is funding research into filling the stratosphere with chemicals to reflect the sunlight back into space. So Bill chemtrailing Gates. Right. Somehow I'm not surprised. I'm really not. Lisa says, well, guys, going off the Vax feedback site, and I'm on with some of you, the term anti-vax will soon be binned. The evidence is so sadly indisputable now. Lisa, you know, if 35% of British people are saying we don't want the vaccine, I think it is indisputable. And you know what? If those people stick by their guns, it means any kind of passport system won't work. So I hope they will. I really hope they do. Nihilist Lives Matters made the point that Gates is buying up farmland. Yeah, David Schultz was saying that he owns he earns, what, 250,000 acres already. And what's he going to plant it with? GMO crops. Vrilon says, and that dust won't be needed. We have 2 volcanic eruptions. Yeah, that one in Iceland. I mean, the one in Iceland's amazing because it's quite, well, until recently, it's actually getting too dangerous now. But when it first came out, it was actually quite a small eruption, and people were like going to see it because in Iceland is like has a very low population, and the people, they tend to live in small settlements around the coast, and the volcanoes tend to be in the interior. But this is one that's actually appeared near Reykjavik, the biggest city, and there's people have been going to see it. I mean, they can't get too close, but it's given off a lot of gas, like carbon dioxide, carbon monoxide. But yeah, volcanoes though, they do affect the climate, not because of the carbon dioxide they give off, and this one in Iceland's got like the carbon footprint of 1 million SUVs, but it's the dust. Yeah, it fills the atmosphere with particulates, and we got like this other one in St Vincent, which that one's dangerous. The one in Iceland's getting more dangerous. Apparently, it's getting more violent. Last thing I heard, and they don't let people near it now. You can't get as close to it as you used to. But there were people going there in Iceland, and they were like cooking hot dogs on the hot lava. I've never seen a volcano, you know. I thought, wow, that must be amazing. That's one thing I've never seen is a volcano. There are none near me. It's actually probably a good thing because it's good not to live near volcanoes because they can be very dangerous. Look at Pompeii. Now, ironically, like if Vesuvius ever erupted again, there'd be a huge amount of the death toll would be terrible because Naples is nearby. Naples has 3 million people. Where Pompeii used to be is Naples, which is a much bigger city. Claire says terror events can be both false flag setups and real atrocities, where people get killed at the same time. They need some real events to maintain the narrative. Correct. I mean, there are some that I don't question. Some of these knife attacks in London, I think were real. The Manchester bombing, I used to be on the fence with that, but after watching Richard D. Hall's videos, I think he makes an indisputable case. He really does. Nihilist says, control the farmland, control the food supply, control the population. Correct. Correct, yeah. Oh, Maureen, I'd love to talk to you on Zoom. I mean, it's tricky for me though, because like, as I said, I'm getting ready for the Hapanwo show at that time. But you know, I will see you again sometime. I really will. E-Man says, I'm tired of the guilt tripping, recalling bombings and shootings hoaxes. Social expectations is what all this propaganda relies on, from babies on bayonets to babies out of incubators. I don't call anything a hoax unless there's reason to call it a hoax. So when something like this happens, I don't immediately go online saying, "Oh, the CIA did it" or something like that. I wait and see what evidence comes to light, and very often it's the field researchers like Richard D. Hall who provide that evidence, and then if the evidence is correct, I'll say it. I mean, they're not right about everything. If they're wrong about something, like Richard was about Larry Warren, I'll say that too. But the babies thing is interesting because, of course, the babies on bayonets to babies out of incubators is a very, very good thing very good metaphor to say, and it's a proof positive that if a trick works, if a trick keeps working, keep using it. Now, what you're referring to is an incident that happened in 1914. Now, in 1914, Germany invaded Belgium, and newspapers, including the Daily Mail and the Daily Herald, which is today the Sun, started posting news reports from Liège that when the Kaiser's armies marched into Liège, they snatched all the babies from the mother's arms and they impaled them on bayonets and on the spikes on the top of their helmets, and then they paraded around the city with these gruesome relics on their weapons and on their helmets. And there was even phrases like the blood was dripping down his helmet and he was licking his lips as it poured over his face. You know, it's as they were portraying these Germans as monsters. And shortly after that, there was the July crisis, and then the British Expeditionary Force, and then the war started that was going to be over by Christmas. Went on for 3 more Christmases, nearly a 4th one. 18 million soldiers killed, poison gas and things like that used. An entire world devastated. And the news story was a total fabrication. But it did its job. And the babies in incubators is very similar. Now, that happened a lot later. That happened in 1991, many years later, where a young woman from Kuwait did a tearful interview where she described how the Iraqi army were killing the babies, the premature babies in the special care babies unit in a hospital. But it turns out that young lady was the daughter of the Kuwaiti ambassador, and she was a drama student. And now we all know that it was fake, and no one cares. You see, they're very arrogant, the Illuminati. Once their tricks work, and we fall for them, they don't mind telling us, "Oh, look, we tricked you." Nah. So it's like the USS Maine. I mean, no one cares now that people think that. No one actually cares now that the proof that the Spanish actually bombed the USS Maine. That was 1898. That triggered the Spanish-American War. Nobody no one knows who actually did it, but no one is claiming now that. No one is pretending now that it was actually the Spanish Secret Service that did it. That was in all the newspapers at the time, though. Spain bombs the US Navy. This is an act of war. Spain makes war in America. It's like, I think at some point, maybe in 20 or 30 or 40 years, someone's going to come out and say, they won't actually say the US government did 9/11, but they will say something like, unless it's exposed by people like us before then, but they'll say something like, "Oh, we've worked out Bin Laden actually had nothing to do with it. We don't know who did it, but it wasn't Bin Laden." They don't mind telling you. Once the propaganda's worked, once the trick has worked, why not just let them know they've been fooled? Let them know they fooled you. It makes us fun. It makes us feel. It's great fun, isn't it? Where are we now? Go up a little bit. Cosmic Claire says there was a celeb who had a jab and there was no needle when it was withdrawn, fake, like used in the movies, but the spring didn't work on the way out. That was weird, wasn't it? Because at first I thought it was one of those safety needles they were trialling at my hospital before I left, but you know what? It wasn't. It actually wasn't. It really was exactly what you say it was. I saw the close-up. Lee says, "You watched Silent Running." Oh, God. That made you cry. Oh, it's a really, really very grim film. It's a very depressing film. I don't think I could watch it again. I watched it once. It's a movie, I think from the late 60s, which is really, I won't describe it to you, but it's incredibly sad and incredibly grim, very, very, very dystopian. Nice Lives Matter says, Soylent Green, brought to you by Microsoft. That's another one from the same time period. There was a lot of like environmental disaster movies in that kind of time period, late 60s, early 70s. There was a lot of them, weren't there? Was it Biden, Claire, who had the fake injection? Doesn't surprise me, you know. What about old Chris Whitty? He doesn't half look evil. Have you seen that photo of Chris Whitty, the chief medical officer? When he's having, just Google it, man. He's having his vaccine. He turns his eyes towards the camera, and he's like, his face is dark, and he's got these glowing eyes. He looks reptilian. Oh man, Maureen, I'm glad you've made friends with Lisa. I am. Yeah. Nothing as it seems has pointed out that Kerry Cassidy has a backup channel, the Project Camelot one, and there's another one. I'm subbed to both. But the best thing to do is catch her on BitChute. I mean, people are, the writing's on the wall now. People are getting the message. And a lot of people are just up and... Some people are deliberately leaving YouTube for BitChute and then just not uploading to YouTube anymore. And for people who do that, it's like... there's an element of relief and happiness about it. It's almost like a sense, it's almost like they're leaving a horrible place and going somewhere lovely. I understand that, I do. Where are we now? Pookie Nana says, I never thought of you as a sub, Ben. A sub? What, you mean like what? Like, is that something to do with 50 Shades of Grey? Michael Snow says, this passport shit won't work. If 35% of people stick by their guns when it comes to the vaccine, it won't, no. These people have to be, because it's going to be, you see, people are going to get fed up. The airlines are going to complain. This is one of the downsides of fascism. If you're like run a fascist regime as opposed to a communist regime, because fascism and communism are supposedly opposite ends of the spectrum, far right, far left. However, that's only because fascism was associated with nationalism and white identitarianism in the 20th century when it first came about, Mussolini, Hitler, etc., like that. But honestly, fascism could just as easily be globalist. The only significant difference between communism and fascism is with communism there's no private sector. The state takes over the role of the private sector in its regime, in its dictatorship. The fascist dictatorship, the only difference is the private sector is allowed to remain intact and becomes part of that dictatorship. The downside of that is that airlines are going to start complaining, and indeed if you own shares in Qantas, get rid of them and buy airlines which are not enforcing masks and vaccines, because they're the ones who are going to be they're the ones who are going to be looking for customers. There's going to be a whole industry of people who of sort of like unvaccinated, untested people. This is what's good. This is what I think will. This is, I think, probably the only thing that's going to break the impetus of this agenda is that very thing. People voting with their feet, and I'm very encouraged by the number of people who are against the vaccine. If you look at the YouTube videos where they're promoting the vaccine, it's down votes. It's like 90+% down votes. Lots, and the vaccine passport is the comments are like underneath are outraged. And Steve said here, if a vaccine passport is needed to enter a pub, I won't be visiting another one again. Steve, I'm going to have a go tomorrow and see what happens. But to be honest, I can live without pubs at the end of the day. I like pubs. Phil O'Nora says he doesn't like pubs. I do. I love them. But, I'm not going to have chemicals put in my body so I can go and have a pint in a pub. I won't. And you know what? This is the industry, the hospitality industry. They're all going to be affected by this. They're all going to complain. There's going to be people kicking up about it. This is going to be worse than the smoking ban for the hospitality industry. It really is. And I'm looking forward to that. I really am. I've got the reason I'm recording this as well as broadcasting, because of course live streams are all recorded, and I can people just watch the recording. But the reason I got record on OBS is just in case YouTube decide to pull this particular live stream while I'm doing it, because that does happen sometimes. If for any reason I disappear, don't worry, I've got it all recorded, and I will upload the recording probably onto BitChute or an Odyssey. TK says, think what you want, but I know lots of people who've had the vaccine and lots of people who haven't had, none of them have died. Well, you know what? Guess what? I mean, Bill Hicks could. I wish Bill Hicks was alive, because he could redo his non-smokers joke. You could just imagine him sitting there smoking a cigarette, saying, people with vaccines die every day. Sleep tight. I know you people entertain a kind of eternal life fantasy because you've chosen to have the vaccine. Well, guess what? You're dead too. I love you. I wish you. Yeah, I miss that guy. He was so good. Where are we now? Caligula, leave Lisa alone. She's a lovely lady. Leave her alone. Cosmic Claire says, better cancel Iceland for its volcano putting out all that CO2. Yeah. Oh yeah, the volcano. Yeah, there's so much CO2 coming out of that volcano. One of the reasons the government have been moving people away is because it builds up, it accumulates, and the CO2 level in the local area gets too high, and it could choke people. It could cause people not to be able to breathe with excessive CO2 in their system. And you know what? When you consider that this is in the open air, just imagine how much carbon dioxide that is. Charles says stratospheric controlled perturbation experiment funded by Bill Gates. Is this the chemtrails thing? Yeah. Cosmic Claire says we'll be glad for the CO2 holding back the next ice age. Well, some people act like people have actually said that. Some of the people involved who know the ice ages could come at any time, and there's signs in the sun now. There's signs for solar activity that we are going to get some colder time. The problem is that the CO2 actually doesn't have it does not have the warming effect that people think it does. That's the problem. Veronora says, is the volcano carbon neutral? Who knows? I mean, maybe they'll come up with volcanoes that have carbon scrubbers on them. I don't know. They'll fit a carbon scrubber over the vents. I don't know. TK says, I'm fine, but the Illuminati might press the button. Well, TK, I'm glad you got a sense of humour over what's happened to you. I really do. I'm sorry, obviously now you wish you hadn't had it done. You can't turn back time. But just don't have the second one. Just don't go for the second one. Steve says, it's part of the plan. Kill the small independent businesses, then relax the rules for the corporations to clean up. Yeah, exactly. Small businesses have been the worst affected by this, and I mean, oh God, it's awful. It really is. It's sad when you see a pub or a shop that's been there for years and it's boarded up. It's heartbreaking. David Schultz says there's a video on YouTube about Project Bluebeam. Is it an alien false flag coming? Michael Salla. Oh right, Michael Salla. I do sub to him. I'll check out his channel because he's a very interesting guy. Oh, yeah, is an alien false flag event coming? Stephen Greer's been going on about this, hasn't he? Greer did this webinar, right, which he charges $75 US to join. As always, everything has a price tag with Greer. But he's like really, it's really kind of like worrying that this could, I mean, to be honest, it's possible, isn't it? Yeah. Maureen says, there's loads of reports of people, especially the elderly, dying soon after the jab. I've heard from care home workers of residents dying soon after the jab, just as many people die after the flu jab. They're probably covering it up. It's like people in care homes have been treated like prisoners. My dad is now he's 74, and I was talking to my brother the other day, saying if he ever needs care like that, we'll look after him. There's no way I would ever put my dad into a care home. I mean, my dad is actually in quite good shape for a man of his age. He goes to the gym. He exercises. He walks a lot. He's got a younger girlfriend. She's 64. She's 10 years younger than him, and so he's in quite good shape. If he ever needed like residential care, I said to my brother, we'll look after him. We'll become carers, or one of us could. There's no way I'd put him in an old people's home. Never. I'd never subject him to that. David says, if or when full disclosure happens, it'll be a false narrative that these entities are our progenitors. It will upset most of the established religion. Most of the world will be duped by their wonders. David, unfortunately, you're right. The most likely disclosure we will get is fake disclosure. In fact, as you know, if you read Roswell Rising, a novel of disclosure by Ben Emlyn Jones, available at all good bookshops now, price £10. Hopefully the small independent bookshops too, and they haven't been completely messed around. You'll know that basically is what happens. The original disclosure event in that story, without giving you any spoilers, is a fake. Well, it starts off as genuine, and then it's manipulated to be a fake disclosure event, and that's what we've got to be on our guard against. So I don't want to slag off Greer, and too much. I'm not going to pay £75 to watch his webinar, but he's possibly doing things at some of the good service, by getting the word out about all this. Patrick Patel, hello, how are you? Keep up the good work. Right. I'm going to take a little break, guys. Is that all right with you? I won't be long. Play amongst yourselves, but I've been going now for almost an hour and a half, 2.5 hours. So stay calm, stay clear, and I'll see you in a little while. In just 2 minutes. Hello. How are you all? Lots of comments about my room. I knew that. Everyone can see it now, aren't they? What a messy room. Come on, I'm a single guy. What do you expect? I need some elevator music here. I should be a bit more creative in my live stream, shouldn't I? I should, shouldn't I? I should be a bit more creative. I can do this. I've learned how to do this. Let's have a look. So, for example, I don't have anything embarrassing open. No, I don't. I've learned how to do this. Here we go. There we go. Hopefully you'll be able to see the... Let's have a look. Oh, it's not working. All right. No, not to worry, not to worry. That's the display capture thing. Maybe I'll do that. What happens if... Oh, there we go. How's that? Is that nice? I should do something like that. I should put something like that on there, shouldn't I? That's enough of that. That's enough of that. So display capture off, and I come back. Yeah. I should be a bit more sort of creative, shouldn't I? Yeah, I should put elevator music. I mean, seriously, elevator music is not a bad idea. I mean, Kevin Logan does all that, and he's my hate watch. If my hate watch can do, my favourite hate watch can do it, surely I can as well. You know, surely I can too. All right, I'll go back now. God, I think I won't be able to answer all these comments. There's so many. I've still got 86 people watching. That's still a record. That's still a lot of people. Where do we get to? It's been a good live stream, isn't it? I mean, I won't go on. I'm not going to go on a bit longer. I'm not tired actually. You know, I'm not tired. What to talk about the vaccine passport? Yeah, definitely. Yeah. And the Project Bluebeam, the UFO disclosure stuff. Yeah, we've got to just. I mean, if you do buy a copy of Roswell Rising, yeah, go into one of the small bookshops and like the small independent bookshops that have been affected by the awful lockdown, and just say you want a copy of it, and they'll order it for you. I mean, it may take longer to get it. It'll take you a bit longer to get it than it would do if you were just ordering it from Amazon. You know, they have a 1-day free delivery service for it, but it promotes It promotes the whole thing. It promotes all these things, doesn't it? Patrick, you love my T-shirt? Yeah, super bald. Funny enough, from someone, Maureen knows the lady who gave me that. It was a present from someone in Truth Seekers North East. Oh, Crafty Nihilist, hi! You just finished. Oh, you finished your live stream. I'm sorry. I'm sorry if I clashed with you. How are you? Hope you're all right. David Schultz says false flag, a horrific staged event. Yeah, blamed on a. It could be that. I mean, the fake alien invasion is kind of the ultimate thing. I mean, do you know that Muse wrote a song about it, didn't it? Yeah. And Woody Black mentioned Styx Hexenhammer. Yeah, Styx is really he's the most he's the top most popular BitChute creator. He really is. And he's on. I got him on Odyssey as well. He's. I think he does put some stuff on YouTube, but he says YouTube. He's just sort of abandoned YouTube really, and he's right to, because they're handing him his hat, aren't they? They're handing us all our hats. I'm going to have to skip a few of these. Lots of talk about the silent running, which is this, oh god, yeah, that was a awful thing. Maureen talks about Thomas Sheridan's about Jimmy Savile and the Yorkshire Ripper. Yeah, he knew Peter Sutcliffe, didn't he? They knew each other, and somehow that just doesn't surprise me. Caligula says from experience she's a moron. Who is? Who do you mean? Hi, 69 Phuket, how are you? Pookie Nana, there's no such thing as death, life is only a dream, and we are the imagination of ourselves. Here's Tom with the weather, Bill Hicks, yeah. The positive acid story, yeah. Oh, it's Cosmic Claire, the t-shirt says super bald. And it was a present from somebody who Maureen and I both know, who used to go to Truth Seekers North and East, doesn't it? Gemma Cooper! Hi Gemma, how are you? I hope you're doing all right. I won't tell any. I won't sort of like say too much about you for reasons we both know. But it's great to see you again. I hope you're all right. I tried to call you the other day, but I couldn't get through. I hope you're doing okay. Patrick says, if everyone has their vaccine, then why would I need to have mine? I wouldn't be a danger to them, would I? Yeah, good. Oh, it's good immunity, yes. And Steve says, like, Steve likes Bill Hicks as well, Steve 071, yeah. Claire thinks Greer is often disinfo. Well, Greer is, yeah, I don't trust Greer. I mean, he's kind of. Greer is, well, I've talked about Greer before. He has a good line up to a point, and some of his stuff is good, but then he just says something or he does something, and I think to myself, why are you doing that? Charles Unleashed says Greer stuffs all that money down his trousers. No way, man. No way. He doesn't make that much money. He doesn't make that much money. Honestly, man. I mean, his films are all about him. The camera's always on him wearing his like tight jeans. Honestly, I mean, it's weird. It's a weird thing, you know. I mean, I'm as straight as they come, you know. But when I see that, when I see him sitting there going, "Hey, man," you know, it's a chap like him can turn a guy's head. M.I. Cluis 55. Hello, how are you? It mentions engineering firms as well as pubs and shops, the service industry. Everything seems to be affected, except the big corporations. Is that a coincidence? No. Giles Unleashed says Roswell Rising or 50 Shades of Grey, an interspecies erotica. Oh dear. Is Lemsip here? Where's Lemsip? Hello, Lem. Oh, Lemsip, hello. How are you? There's only not had the flu jab. Good. 69 says fag break. Yeah, I've just been nipping outside puffing. But no, I did need a pee. It wasn't smoking. I don't smoke. I still don't smoke. No. But I do need. About my bedroom. It is. I'm a single bloke. You know. If I had a girlfriend, I'd probably tidy it up a bit. But I don't. So what the hell? You know. It's. And I'm not gay. If I was gay, it'd be a lot cleaner. You should see my brother's house. You should see it, man. I mean, I'm scared to tread anywhere in case I leave a grain of dust. Oh, where are we now? It's a lot of thanks for all these comments. I'm sorry I can't answer all of them. What did Pookie Nana says? Quick, go full screen on HD to look for sex toys. Oh God, you have to be very careful when you share screen. You don't have anything embarrassing open. You know, you really don't. Charles Unleashed, a Super Bowl designed by Charles. Yeah. Closest porn up. No, I did make sure beforehand. I did have a quick look, but nothing embarrassing there. Pookie says the girl from Ipanema is a good choice. Who's that? Lisa says this Ben is real. Nothing else is more important these times. Go Ben. Thanks, Lisa. Thank you. Villon Aura. Oh, I can see your muscles. Villon is watching Greer in the background. He's got me playing in the background while he watches Stephen Greer. Villon, switch Greer off and focus on me, will you? Nihilist Lives Matter says Kevin Logan is a super misogynist to women he disagrees with. Oh, yeah. Kevin Logan is well, I could talk for ages about him. He's this scruffy, brummy guy he's very left wing and he hates anyone who doesn't agree with feminism. And you've seen my videos. I've made watch my reply videos to Kevin Logan. I've made about 3 of those. One of them is actually one of the best videos I ever did, and it's the reply where he talks about Dave Cullen and Dave's God Pill video. It's called Computing Forever's Religious Conversion or whatever, a reply to Kevin Logan. And the one I did to Christy Winters, he simps to. He's a beta orbiter. Hi Tessa, how are you? Cosmic Clay, you probably don't have time to watch him, but there's a chap from Sussex called the Bald Explorer who does countryside walks and local history. Now, I will if I can, Claire. There's a guy called Bald and Bankrupt who does the same thing, but he goes all over the world. He tends to spend a lot of time in Russia. Patrick says, I miss David Icke on YouTube. Do you know if he's on any other platform? Is he on any other platform? He's everywhere, Patrick. BitChute. Go to BitChute. If you ever can't find someone on YouTube, check them out on BitChute because they'll probably be there. Lisa, all right. Lisa and Caligula are having an argument. Yeah, she says I'm pro-Trump. Yes, I am. Yes, I am. I think Trump is down, but he's not out. I've said a lot about that. Yeah. Maureen says, our lot at Truth Seekers North East are kind and generous. Do you remember the packed lunches I used to make for you for your journey home from my house? I do indeed, Maureen. I'll never forget them. I really appreciate that. I can't wait to see you again. I really can't. Where am I now? Okay. I'll get through these comments here. Yeah, McLewis55 says, has loads on BitChute. Yeah, I don't know if he's on Odyssey, but he's on BitChute. BitChute, of course, our free speech platform specifically. And I went there. Is Tina still here? Because Tina and I went to the BitChute office. Now we didn't go in, but we went to the building where they are. And I really respect them. Of course, it is full of bugs. I mean, my own channel's not working at the moment. I have contacted technical support. I'm waiting to hear back from them. But even when it's working, it has problems. You know, videos that people complain that some videos don't play. They do play, but some of them take ages to start. Charles Unleashed says, Greer turned a few lampposts with that crotched. Lemsip, I've refused the COVID jab because I want to see it improved on first. Also, vaccine centres are very inaccessible to people without cars. Well, I'm glad you're not having it, Lemsip, but obviously I think you should. I would do it for another reason. I really do. Alex Ritchie, hello. Shit, I'm 18. Oh, well, that's young. Caligia says, Ben, you look like a giant when you went for your break. How tall are you? I'm 6'1". I am big, both vertically and horizontally. Yeah, I know. Greer is a brand, or at least he aspires to, says Nihilist. Oh, he's now. You see, it's all about him. He's like an ego. You can see he's on a massive ego trip. And I'm suspicious of people like that. Like I said about Charlie Veach on my comments reply video, he's obviously got that same problem, and it really makes you so easy to compromise. Gary Robinson, hello, thanks for joining us. I still got 75 views. David Schultz, Ben, have you a view on YouTube? David Icke speaks with Jason Leosatos, 4/7/21. Great interview. No, I haven't. David himself has been banned. Yeah, but I'll check that out. Michael Snow says only the elderly and vulnerable need the vaccine. What wanting to do everyone else is a money-making exercise. Well, of course, the COVID vaccine is the best. It's the biggest. It is literally the biggest payday for Big Pharma in history. But in my view, the elderly and vulnerable simply need protecting from infection, as you generally do. The elderly and vulnerable people always need protecting from infectious diseases, more than everyone. And there's no reason simply to continue the same practices, the safety practices you do anyway. I don't see there needs to be any special arrangement for this particular virus. Sue Hayward Tonkin, welcome, Sue. Good morning. Just got up. How are you? How are you too? It's nice to see you. Thanks for posting in the Panmo radio chat the other day. Mike Lindell, the pillow guys, exposing the fraud. He's actually found an algorithm. It's a blast. Claire, Colin Wolford told me that he's actually, the pillow guy is actually starting his own social media company. That would be very good, wouldn't it? Yeah. Oh, Alex Rich is late, not 18. Or One Thunter. Hello, how are you? Philip died 99-year-old. Died on the 9th of the 4th. Add the numbers together, it's 9. Yeah, he's 99, 9th, and it's also the 99th day of the year, apparently. Gary Robinson says, speaking of BitChute, Ben, I got a new phone this weekend, and upon downloading all my apps, I was unable to find BitChute. Yeah, Google, unfortunately, you need to use the browser. It's annoying, but Google banned it. You can't share links of BitChute on Twitter now. Yeah, they're trying to put that genie back in the bottle. They really are. I don't know how much longer they can do it. I mean, what if, for example, what if Fox News gets their own BitChute channel? I mean, it's becoming more and more popular. When Trump got banned off Twitter, their membership, they had 1 million new members. Parler did as well. I mean, Parler was silly because they didn't secure themselves. I mean, when Parler was set up, they hired servers from Amazon, for goodness sake. I mean, it's just so easy, isn't it? It's so damn easy. Pookie says, Ben, you are a big lad. That will dictate your funeral choices. If you get cremated, you'll go up like a stack of tyres. Hopefully that won't be necessary for a while, Pookie. I haven't really thought about that. Nihilist Lives Matter says they don't need to jab the elderly. Just put the vaccines in Werther's Originals. Claire says, Mike Lindell's new platform, Frank, will be focusing on sharing the info about the algorithm, which was used to move votes in not just the swing states, but all of them. Yeah, I can't remember the full story of Mike Lindell. I know he had a pillow and it was politically incorrect or something. And he was banned everywhere. And Kevin Logan, Christy Winters were having a go at him. Alex says, can we club together and upgrade Ben's webcam? Oh, right. I have a new webcam. I haven't used it yet. This one's a bit... You can see it's like... It's not the best one. What I'll do is I should use the new one at some point, because it may not actually be the hardware. It may be something else that's causing quite a low frame rate. Sue Hayward Tonkin. I got to see Max Egan on BitChute. Yeah, through LinkedIn. I always watch Max on BitChute now, Sue. I watch all the sort of edgy people on BitChute. I don't even look at them on YouTube anymore. Most of them make Old Tech exclusive content now, like Styx Hexnammer. I just watch him since he started making Old Tech exclusives. I don't even bother with him on YouTube. I just watch him on Old Tech. He started off with like doing maybe 1 in 4 videos Alt Tech exclusive. Now he does like half his stuff Alt Tech exclusive. I think he's just waiting for the day when he's banned from YouTube, and he'll already have had all his viewers will already moved over. Stefan Molyneux I watch on BitChute. Molyneux was complaining because he has fewer viewers on BitChute than on YouTube. Well, no, he just has all the serious ones went over. 69. Check me out on what? Villanora says BitChute is like YouTube used to be. Yes, although the thing is, like, exactly, Verlon. Yeah, you can speak freely. Pookie Nana says you have a light behind your head, Ben. That won't help the camera. Do you think is that the cause of it? Do you think? Let's just see, because I actually switched that off to the. Let me just see if I can solve that problem. Okay. Let's see. Is that any better? Because if it is, then maybe that's the answer. Nihilist slides. My trouble with BitChute is too much buffering. It's Nihilist. BitChute is full of bugs. It's actually loaded with bugs. It's and you know this is the processing problem. You know, videos stuck in eternal processing mode. That's always a pain. Things like that. There's videos that don't play. Well, they take about an hour to get started. It's not worth it. No one's going to wait an hour. Is that any better? I'll try breaking out the new webcam. It might help, but I mean, whatever it is, I don't think it's a hardware problem, because my old camera didn't gave me a strange frame rate too. Lisa's mentioning the mark on the wall. Yeah, several people have said it needs sorting out. Normally my head's in the way of it, so. Oh yeah. Nihilist says Stefan Molyneux is an interesting character. Well, do you remember one of the videos I made? It's actually the last one I uploaded to bloody YouTube, to BitChute, was my reply to video to him about ayahuasca. It's the frame rate. It's in your PC. Alex, I don't know how to make it any better. I'm just using. It's a plug and play. There's no drivers. It's sort of like a plug and play thing. This particular webcam. Claire, there's a flying saucer stuck to my ceiling. That's my light. Yeah, it looks like that, doesn't it? Steve071, Ben, what's the weirdest dream you remember? Well, oddly enough, it was about Prince Philip. When was it? It was like he appeared in a dream. It's like, and I was actually with him, and we were like walking around places. I can't remember the details. I don't remember dreams very well. All right. Hey, Lisa says, "Hey Ben, get a street artist to come and paint your mural on the wall. That'll be epic. I'll try and get the guy who did the cats in space picture. Yeah, because that was quite something, wasn't it? If you watch my graffiti video." Steve says, "I once dreamt that aliens were walking around in my street. Was it a dream, Steve?" Alex, she says, "Love S. Williamson. S. Williamism. He's cool, isn't he? Yeah. He did in 2013. He was like very famous because he was at the Bilderberg Fringe Festival. He was really good. Oh man, it's been going nearly 3 hours now. I think we've covered Philip, and I think we've said all we need to say about Philip. As always, we go off topic on these things, which is normal. It's not a problem. But does anyone else want to add anything? Because I'll call it a night. I know. Yeah, the posh lad walking around London. That's him. He had these things called the London Conspirator. I mean, he would have called it the Truth Tour, but I got in there first with that one because I did something similar. But I did like his channel. I don't know if he's still around, if he's uploaded stuff. But yeah, what's he doing at the moment? Is he doing anything? I'll find out. I can't be bothered to look now. I just wonder actually if I can customize. What happens if I customize my channel now? Let's have a look and put this particular one on the. Will it allow me to put this live stream? Oh, it will. I hope it will anyway. Change video. This is like my title video, and it's this live stream. I can do it when it's live. Save me from doing it later. Yeah. Sorted. Is Philip still? I think Philip's still dead. Yeah. Claire, I'm glad you caught me too, Claire. Yeah, thank you. I'm glad you were here. Thank you very much. I've still got 80 views. I'm not sure I want to end when I've got 80 bloody views. Steve, I'm glad you enjoyed this. Yeah, have to do this again sometime. I will do another live stream as soon as one is necessary, and also I'm going to make a video tomorrow, which I might not upload tomorrow, but it all depends whether I get into the pub. But David Schultz, see you down the road. Take it easy, guys. Make good on those memes, Ben. Yeah, Richard D. Hall punches the air in front of the I don't know, World Trade Center. The death of the dodo. Sue Hayward Tonkin. So what are you feeling about this royal death then? Oh, Sue, I know it's a bad time of day for you, but I explained. You'll be able to see it on the recording. I explained at the beginning. But, Pookie Nana, thanks for the live stream. You're a great company. Enjoy the rest of your weekend. You too, Pookie. Thank you very much. Good night, Charles. Good night, Pookie. So I've still got 83 people watching, but I'm getting tired. You know. But, Woody Black, you should do a weekly live stream regularly. Well, it all depends on whether there's plenty I can do it with something like a theme. But I do the weekly Hapanwo show on Hapanwo Radio. If you want to watch that, it's on Spreaker or listen to that. And it has a live chat box, so it's a bit like this one. Lisa says, what do you have to give up at the pub? Test and trace, name and address, wear a mask. I'll let you know tomorrow, Lisa. I will. Night UFO Nut. Thank you very much. Glad you enjoyed it. You guys have been brilliant. Good night, David. Yes, Lisa says, sod that. Exactly. I'm not gonna do it if that's the case. Neil, hello. Ben to break the secret vault record of plus 8 hours. Oh my goodness me. Was he on their secret vault? Was he on? Did he do an 8-hour live stream secret vault? Oh my god. See it, Woody Black. Good night, Caligula. I'm glad you enjoyed it. Leave Lisa alone. No, she's great. Lisa's cool. Nanites, David. Steve071. Your thoughts on disclosure, Ben? All right, here we go. 8 hours. Let's go. Oh my goodness. Oh. Your thoughts on disclosure? Pookie says, why not mix the radio show and audio of these live streams? Well, I think it's because of the music I play. You know, they'd probably be banned. Johnny says, what time are you going to the pub? It'll be after work tomorrow if I can get in. I don't know who you mean. Charles says, Lisa is as cool as a snowman's cold bits. Oh, that's nice. That's nice to know. I'll be at the pub. I'll try and go to the pub tomorrow. I'll take my camera with me to work tomorrow. I'll do some vlogging, and there may be a video tomorrow night for me, or it may be in the next day or two. I don't know. Woody Black says I'm going to watch that video of Andrew Johnson cussing you now. Lol. Well, go for it, Woody. It's not. It's daft. But go ahead, watch it, guys. I mean, there's nothing in it that I haven't already really replied to. But anyway, I'll cover it in more detail in my comments reply video. But I've replied to his comment on my Ian R. Crane video. The pubs will be a mess. Michael, I saw this one of the best things I saw, one of the most beautiful sights I saw a couple of days ago. There's this local pub in the area where I work, and they were delivering barrels, and I said, "Hey guys, good morning. What's going on? You're delivering beer?" And he says, "This place is opening on Monday." I thought, whoa. Gary Robinson, bedmate, please do some good old paranormal UFO videos soon. I will do my best, Gary. I really will. Andrew Johnson, shitty blue face, says Vrillon. I wish he'd wear that again. It's just like it's his textbook thing, isn't it? No, we'll catch up. Library, Alex. Oh, great, man, great. Oh man, I'm tired. You take care, guys. See you all again very soon, and thanks for watching.